Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to Lucid9. Now, normally, since I feel like we're getting really close to the ending, and I just want to say right now that the guy did say to, you know, highly recommend to read all the bad endings first before getting the good ending. And the reason I'm saying this is because for some reason, so the guide that I'm looking at is on Steam, and for some reason Steam is just not working for like the community side of it right now for some reason for me. So like I can't access the guide that I normally look at right now, which is really odd. So I mean, I really do want to see the good ending, and I want to see all the bad endings too, but like, I'm just saying that because, you know, I kind of didn't, you know, obviously I'm not going to memorize everything that a guide says, so like, that's why I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to be doing things right or wrong or anything, like, but we'll just see what happens, maybe it will be a bad, ending. Someone's calling me. Maybe I'll pick it up, and on the other end, I'll hear the cold, dead voice of Ruri's parents saying quietly that Ruri has been found, but as a bleeding, mutilated lump of flesh and bone. Maybe I'll drop my phone, and this time it'll shatter completely, crushed to pieces like the fragments of sanity stringing me together. Or maybe it's a tracking call from Lemniscate, a bid from the police that I'll be stupid enough to pick up. Unknown. The phone number, unknown. The risk, high. If I answer it, and it is from the police, I'll be caught in the blink of an eye. Ruri will die. Ruri will run free. But if I don't, what then? I'll be left alone to fend for myself, and somehow I'll have to extract Ruri safely and catch Ryuda and somehow stay alive. Is it even possible, or do I need help no matter how much I despise it? Oh fuck. I don't know what to answer for this. I didn't. Oh my god, I need a fucking guide. Where's the guide where I need it? Oh, Lucid. I'm looking it up. Walkthrough. Yes, please, give me a walkthrough. Give me the walkthrough. Please load for me. Please load for me on my computer. Please. Yes, I'm legitimately looking up a guide on my computer right now as I am recording this video because I cannot stand not knowing what to do. Blah, blah. Oh my god, it can't be reached! It can't be. Oh, it loaded on my computer. Can it load on my phone now? Can it load on my. It loaded on my phone! Yay! It's back! Yay! Praise the Steam Lords, or ladies, or whatever. Oh my god, finally. Okay, I can't. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna do the good end. I think I'm gonna do the good end first, and then I'll look at all the bad ends later. Because honestly, I want a good ending. So I'm gonna answer the phone. No, I have to pick this up. Facing Ruri by myself will only result in getting both Ruri and me killed. With shaking fingers, I answer the call. Hello? Fuck, that fucking ringing just gets so annoying.
Yami Ishimoto, I need you to listen carefully. This is my personal phone. It cannot be tracked. The number you have been contacting until now has been my work phone.
I need to hang up. Now. Surely they're tracking my number, narrowing down the district and block and even the last millimeter. But I only clutch the phone tighter. The walls that I've built up, struggling to keep a foothold on my emotions, are starting to crumble.
The police are in the midst of a manhunt for your person. They sincerely believe that you are the killer.
And you need me to turn myself in.
I need you to stay out of sight and give me time.
What? Is this some kind of next level bait? I don't understand.
Don't get caught, Ishimoto. Any time you might give me is time we may dedicate to catching the true killer.
But you said
you were the only suspect I could trust to avoid the police for the necessary amount of time.
I fall into silence at this, the magnitude of her statement only growing the more I ponder it. You saw me at the apartments and were warning me?
You hardly were inconspicuous. So, if you happen to possess any previously unknown information regarding the identity of the killer, now would be a wonderful time to state as such.
It could be a trap. It could still be a trap. But I don't think it is. The killer is Jairo Ryota, the dorm manager and counselor of the academy. Silence falls momentarily on the other end of the phone. I can practically see Shigure's grip tighten.
What? How did you come to know of this?
Shigure, did you get any recent disappearance reports?
3, actually.
I need help. Shigure, help. My voice cracks and I hate it. I hate feeling vulnerable, hate feeling open, but I don't have a choice. Shigure falls silent for a long, long moment, and just when I'm beginning to think that she's hung up, she speaks.
Will you live within the next 5 minutes?
Her voice is slow and steady, soothing my frazzled nerves. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not injured.
Then, the urgency?
Rui's disappeared. I work to speak, but my throat's gone dry. After a moment of silence, Shigure continues.
You presume she is with the killer.
He must have taken her.
I have no time to question you, Ishimoto, so I will ask you this and this only. Are you completely, absolutely certain that the culprit is Jairo Ryuta?
Yes. I say it without hesitation. It appears to catch her off guard.
Very well. I shall send forces to the academy under the reasoning that you may be hiding there. We may be able to find where he is holding Rui.
That's it? She just takes my word as law? Thanks.
In the meantime, stay out of sight and out of mind. Do you understand?
But Ryuta would see the police coming. He wouldn't stand still. He would escape immediately after killing Rui. Actually, I'm planning on contacting him.
For what purpose?
I need to meet with him. To buy some time, otherwise... Shigure violently explodes into strident screams that I'd never heard from her before.
You gullible imbecile! You moronic excuse for a... What are you even thinking?
I'm taken aback by her sudden flare of passion, but my surprise is quickly replaced by indignance. At least I'm telling you now, aren't I?
Oh yes, when it was nearly too late and I would have called a corpse. Simply put, Ishimoto, you haven't told me anything. Why would you not speak to me if you knew the identity of the killer?
A very real bolt of anger laces through me. Why? Because I just figured it out. Because somehow, barely at the end of my rope, I found something to cling on to. But I can't tell her that. If I say that I just figured it out, she might change her mind. She might need the reasoning. Who would trust a teenager who just figured out the supposed identity of a serial killer? I had a good reason for doing so.
Oh, good. Do enlighten me.
What, you can't just believe me? Need to throw some more tests? Another little riddle run in District 6? Hell, was that investigation in the school just another goose chase? A funny little game to see how the kids at the academy dance?
What are you saying, Ishimoto?
You're right, I guess. Even while I was figuring out who the killer was, I didn't call you. I didn't ask you for help. Because I knew what you would say. You'd poke holes at me. You'd say that my reasoning didn't make any sense. You'd need empirical evidence. I knew that you wouldn't have believed me. You never even needed me as your assistant in the first place. Cold silence descends.
I wouldn't have believed you.
And then something happens. Something that I would have thought to be impossible. Shigure's voice cracks.
But you didn't even try. I would have believed you. I would. If you just trusted me, if you just...
She falters for a moment, then seems to recover, her voice strengthening.
Ishimoto, regardless of my previous insinuations, I need you to know something. I do not tolerate the idiocy of the average ingenuous denizen, much less let them become my personal assistant. You have repeatedly proven yourself through your rational deductions, your level-headed procedures, and your propensity to attack problems from unusual places. Angles, fuck. Your input is invaluable. Despite our clear disparity in experience, you have taught me several valuable lessons. Do you wish to know why I pulled your accomplices into the investigation rather than opting for a police unit? Simply put, my permissions in the case were barred from the academy. All information I was given was secondhand and thus easily corruptible. However, I was impressed by how you and your accomplices worked wholeheartedly. Yama Ishimoto, I have faith in you.
Her words pierce through me. I'm frozen to the ground in shock, wordlessly opening and closing my mouth. You're a fucking fish on the water. You're a fish out of water. You're like, you can't see me. That's great. Just imagine a little fish, like, opening and closing its mouth. Shigure believes in me. I don't even know how to react. But after that meeting with Natsuki, you...
Fired you? That was for your own benefit, you imbecile. Are your eyes too... Oh, never mind.
This familiar type of response wrings a chuckle out of me, but my mind is still racing. I have faith in you. Those simple little words. Words that tell me that I can do something, that acknowledge my efforts, that tell me it's okay, you'll do the right thing. In the distance, I catch the faint glimmer of the approaching subway, hailed by the distant echo of the announcer's voice. Sudden clarity breaks into my mind. It's as if every disjointed piece just fell into place. I know what to do. Thanks, Shigure. I get to my feet as the subway grinds to a halt before me, but Shigure's voice comes harshly into my earpiece.
Yama, listen carefully. We are en route, but there are powerful forces behind this case that remain very much hostile. It will take time to arrive. You understand this?
I do. I'll get you time.
I am extremely uneasy at the thought of you knowingly sending a civilian into the presence of a known killer. But if you honestly believe you can prevent a death tonight, I shall not stop you.
I think I can?
Oh, well, that sounds convincing.
I probably can.
I suppose that is the best I can ask for. I would wish that you might wait until I could convey a firearm to you, but...
Not possible with the current time frame. I have to go now. Neither of us mentioned that it would be also extremely illegal.
Understood. Best of luck, Ishimoto.
1 sec. Stay on call. Oh, fuck. No! I punched Ryuta's contact and set the phone on speaker, waiting patiently. Shigure apparently understands, not a word crosses her lips. Finally, a neutral tone indicates that Ryuta's picked up.
Oh, not this music! Oh, not the creepy music! Oh!
Doesn't it just set the mood? Ooh! Are you guys feeling spooked? 'Cause I am. I'm terrified, I say with a smile. An enthusiastic tone. Hello? Hearing his voice makes me freeze. This voice that comforted me, guided me, made me laugh. In the end, it left me, just like everything else. I quickly shake myself, trying to master my words. He's an enemy now, a stranger. Feign ignorance. Maybe I can still grab an advantage. Hey, Mr. Ryuta. Hey, kid. That's when I realized that something's terribly wrong. It's some ungodly hour in the morning, and yet... He picked up immediately, and he sounds wide awake. Almost as if he's been preparing for this moment. Mr. Ryuta. Say, you have great timing. I was wondering if we could meet up. I know that it's like some crazy hour or another, but I have something pretty important to tell you. Oh no! He's on to us! It has to do with, your lapses. Is that really it? Is that why he's up? I can't bring myself to believe that. Obviously. Mr. Ryuta, I was just... But before I can add anything more, Ryuta's phone buzzes angrily in the background. He pauses for a moment. Sorry, kid. Just let me take this call really quick. And he suddenly mutes. Fingers shaking, I also mute my end, switching to Shigure's call. Did you hear all that?
Quite clearly. Ishimoto, about the call Ryuta just received, I am uneasy that it may perhaps...
But that's when I hear Ryuta's voice, and I quickly switch back to his call and unmute. Thankfully, Shigure immediately falls silent. Mr. Ryuta? Mr. Ryuta, did you find anything out about... Nice try. You almost had me. Hang up that call with the police first, then we'll talk. I almost dropped the phone, a bolt of panic lancing straight into my chest. He knows? How could he? Hurry up, boy, I don't have all day. I shakily mute and switch the call. I expect Shigure to burst into anger, but she only seems resigned.
It is as I surmised.
A mole?
That, or...
She trails off, as if the thought is too terrible to comprehend.
Ishimoto, knowing this new risk, are you still determined to enter the school?
I have to. I can't let Ruri go without a fight.
I shall bring a unit. Give us as much time as you possibly can.
I will.
And Ishimoto, given the choice between a stupid option and a stupider option, which would you pick?
The less stupid one.
Wrong. You must pick neither and wait. Please, Ishimoto, you wouldn't enter the lottery nor borrow from a loan shark in order to buy a house, no? It is best to wait and save. Do you understand?
I guess save my gain. What?
Just remember this.
And she hangs up, leaving me alone in the subway. I switch back to Ryuta's call and unmute. He chuckles lightly. If you just ask the police for help, I wouldn't count on it. You don't know a thing, do you? I know you're the murderer. That's a pretty good start. Hey, murderer is such a harsh term. I like to call myself an artiste. With the E. With the E. He chuckles again, but this time it comes with a pinch of shrillness that wasn't there before. My foreboding only skyrockets. Just what kind of insanity has he been hiding? So, hung up the call, now what? Quite simply, the fun begins. Come to my playboy. I've been setting the stage. This just confirms my fears. For some reason, Ryuta's been preparing to kill me. Maybe I'm the next one on his list. No, I can't let this shake me. I have to stay strong. Talk normally. You've done it before. Oh, the false bravado of a man in love. I know it well. Did it really sound like that, I wonder? It's so terribly stupid. Are you going to answer my question, or are you going to wax more poetry? Poetry is by far the more interesting option, don't you think? Only for people with too much time on their hands. And that is the eternal problem, boy, for the both of us. We each have too much time on our hands. Far, far too much. Doesn't life just get so dull? Every hour passing drearily like a never-ending group project where all you want to do is murder your classmates. That's what life is. How do you ease your boredom, I wonder? Television? Social media? No, you do neither. Sleep? Thanks, Shakespeare, but I think my life is my own business. I look forward to stripping that sense of righteous anger within you, and replacing it with terror. I look forward to you trying. Ha! I love the ones that fight back! It just makes their descent all the more satisfying. Before I can respond, he plows on, his voice gradually rising in pitch. Now, let's set the stage, shall we? I thought you were taking care of that. Oh, don't worry. I'll be taking care of all the props. Do you hear me, boy? Don't bring any extra props. The thought never crossed my mind. Leave your phone and any police toys at the entrance. I'll see if you tried to smuggle something into the theater. Understand? Is that it? Not quite. Why are you so hasty to end the call? Am I boring you? Sure, let's go with that. Then I'll get straight to the point. There is a brief moment of silence, punctuated only by the faint tones of Ryoda punching numbers into his phone. Then I hear a voice.
Yama, don't you dare do anything stupid.
Nothing hits me, but it's like all the breath has been sucked out of my lungs. Ruri?
Stay there! Don't come!
I wordlessly open and close my mouth like a fish. Desperately searching for words, my mind only runs blank. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but right now I am the master of Ruri's fate, so you might want to stay on my good side. This is how it's going to happen. You come to the back of the school, you know, the garbage truck route. You're going to dump all your toys, then I'll let you in. How? There's no entrance. Why is it that you all say the same thing? Boring! Where there is a well, boy, there is a way. So that's it then? Well, actually, I feel like I should tell you this, just out of the kindness of my heart. Ruri won't be there. For insurance purposes. I'm sure you understand. My fingers clamp in a death grip on my phone. What do you mean, Ruri won't be there? Hush, child! Why are you so impatient? Right now, Ruri's in the safe hands of a third party, so long as you listen to my words. So, we meet up, have a little chat, and I let Ruri go. Everyone gets their happy ending except the police, who, well, you know, they won't do anything anyway. A beautiful arrangement, no? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I grind my teeth and force a long, slow breath. If I go, I won't be able to see Ruri with my own eyes. She could be anywhere. Even when Shigure comes, we won't be able to find her. But am I really in a position to be making demands? We can either agree to these terms or refuse these terms. The correct answer is refuse these terms, but obviously I will be doing the bad end too, because I want to see all the bad endings. I heard that they're pretty good. I heard it says on the guide that the bad ends are well worth reading, honestly. That's quote unquote. We were supposed to refuse these terms. Okay, we're supposed to refuse these terms, and then the next time we're gonna reject these terms, and then last time we're gonna accept these terms. Okay. We're gonna refuse these terms. No, if I can't see Ruri, then this entire ordeal is pointless. I have to take this risk. You know me better than that, Ryoda. I have to see Ruri with my own two eyes. Who knows? You could be lying. You could kill her before I show up. I'm wounded! Do you really think I would do something so cliché? Well, I didn't think you would be a serial killer, but here we are. Forgive me for not taking chances. Fair enough, boy. I'll play along. She'll be here by the time you arrive. I'll even let you see her before you enter the school. That was very oddly agreeable of him. enough to make me feel as though I've walked straight into his setup. Then, boy, is that all? Time passes ever on. Can I get anything more from him? Right now, the situation still seems grim. Reject these terms. Okay, we're gonna reject these terms. I'd also like for Ruri to be untied, so she can run away? As if you wouldn't be able to chase her down. Playing hard to get, aren't we? Fine, because I'm so very magnanimous, I accept. Would your highness also like a pony? Yeah. Who doesn't want a fucking pony? Like, come on. It's a fucking pony. They're so cute and tiny. Any new terms stack the odds more in my favor, but I'm not currently in the possession of power. If I push too hard, everything could go south. I'm going to accept these terms. No, if I'm honest, there's not a whole lot more I can ask without making this request seem downright ridiculous to Ryuta. Rui's going to be there. I'm going to see her. The police will know where I am. This is the most I can ask for. The back of the school, then? I'll give you 15 minutes. I'm coming from the subway station. Then you'd better run! Ta-ta! And that's the last thing he says before he hangs up. Almost blankly, I stand in the middle of the subway platform, phone swinging loosely from the edge of my fingers. Oh shit. Then, all of my muscles burst into action and I shoot out of the subway, legs pounding the pavement as fast as I can make them. My lungs start to burn as the cold night air cuts into my throat like knives, but I'm forced to ignore it. Stoplights in the cross sections warn me to stop, but when I see a gap between the incoming cars, I bolt across for my life. Engines roar by and oh my god, fuck. Engines roar by and horns belt in full volume. I'm certain that cars roll down their windows to call me crazy, scream that I'm an idiot, swear to call the police on me, but I don't care. They're coming back from a long work day or from grabbing fast food around the corner or picking up their kid from martial arts or cram school. Meanwhile, there's a girl hedged in a dark room, alone, her only company a crazed murderer who takes pleasure in the infliction of long, extended agony. And yet on they go, with fast food and martial arts and cram school. I mean, hey! Fast food? It's pretty nice. Sometimes it's a nice little treat. Once in a while. Guys gotta eat. Gotta eat to live. The world blurs by in a haze of bright, fluorescent color until I finally grind to a halt at the entrance of the school. I'm gonna save it real quick right here, even though, like, just so I know, like, okay, like, keep everything organized, I guess. I don't know. My heart feels as though it's slamming into my ribs, bruising itself until it bleeds. I'm forced to stop and lean against the gate, gulping desperately for air. 13 minutes. I only have 2 left. I press my sleeve against the sweat coating my brow, allowing myself time for one more deep breath. Then I sprint around the perimeter of the school, stopping by the shady back area where all the good kids stay clear of. Ground up cigarette butts lie scattered on the floor, and if I squint, I can catch the light gleam of empty needles in the grass. Well, maybe the school was a little less tidy than I first thought. As I near the trash bin, I notice a long, distinctly human-shaped figure leaning against a solid wall. Fine weather we're having. I expect the voice, but I don't expect the instinctive reaction that comes with it. My breath catches and my throat clogs, sending tears straight to my eyes, no matter how hard I try to keep them down. I don't like this! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! What the fuck is this? And Ryota steps into the moonlight, lips twisted into a lopsided grin. Ah, this is glorious. I'm gonna take a screenshot, even though, like, why? Why would I? Why not? This is glorious. I hope he makes a really fucking weird, like, you know, Yandere-esque face, you know. You know when they put their hands to their face, they're like, "Hey, senpai!" And they're all covered in blood. They're like, "Oh, my pussy's so wet for senpai right now." Yeah, I want him to make that kind of face, cause that. Oh shit. I'm gonna zoom in like this. I'm just taking the screenshot. Don't worry. Don't worry. And out for a little light exercise. I try to speak, but no sound passes my lips. I know what he's doing. I know what this is. A power play. I'm sweaty, tired, disheveled, and likely very sleep deprived. Forcing me to run here only gave him more of an advantage. And there's nothing I can do about it. Now, removal of gadgets, if you may. Wordlessly, I reach into my pocket until I remember. You said you'd show Rumi. You said you'd show me Ruri first. He only chuckles at this. Not even a chuckle of amusement. It almost sounds giddy. Good. You're already learning how to play the game. He turns and points silently at the second floor of the classroom building. Most of it is shrouded in darkness, but just by the window, I catch a glint of... You saw it, didn't you? So, phone? All I saw was orange hair. It could be a dupe. Sighing heavily, Ryuta reaches for his phone and taps the screen a few times. He only has to wait a few seconds. Ruri? Your boyfriend is having some trust issues. Be a dear and look out the window. I stare at the building, forcing myself not to blink, half convinced that if I look away for a split second, I'll miss everything. The head of orange hair by the window turns slowly, revealing a distant, pale face, muddled slightly by the distortion of the window. But without a doubt, it's Ruri. I sigh breathlessly, instinctively, something that I can't stop in time. Ryuta smiles triumphantly. Phone? I silently hand him my phone. Turn out your pockets, pants and jacket. I do so. You're walking evenly, so I doubt you're carrying anything in your shoes or underwear. Come in. We've wasted enough time. How? We're at the back of the... But then he touches the wall, and part of it slides away, and suddenly there's a keypad. He jabs a sequence of 6 digits into the keypad, waits, and the wall slides open. It's nothing like one of those mysterious puzzles of ancient architecture in video games where the whole wall rumbles apart while the ground shakes and dust falls from the ceiling and a magical passage is revealed. Why can't it be like that, though? Simply put, a door-shaped part of the wall swings open, as if it was just a door painted to look like the wall, except the texture is somehow exactly the same. It's quiet, it's understated, and I would have never guessed in a million years that it was there. Ryuta clocks my shock and only grins in response. Oh, that is like a yandere-esque face! Oh, I love it! Oh, it's glorious! Oh, I love it! Look at that yandere-esque face. Glorious. I'm gonna take a screenshot of it because... fucking yandere... yandere Ryuta is coming out. Even though he doesn't have a senpai, probably. I don't know. Is Mr. Ryuta a fucking yandere? Does Mr. Ryuta have a senpai? These are questions we will never get answers to because who the fuck would be wasting their time to answer them? Ah! Whee! Okay, we took a fucking screenshot. Wonderful. Let me tell you something, kid. The janitor has to get in and out somehow to dump his trash. Now, smooth little school kids like this. Now, smooth little schools like this, they love to give the illusion that they're perfectly protected, impenetrable walls in every direction, the only gate supervised by a card reader and cameras. But functionally speaking, you think that the janitor is going to walk out the gates all the way around the school dump, go back all the way around and go through the gates? Of course not. That's sheer nonsense. Sheer nonsense. Something on the level of presuming that the janitor took everything to the land of missing old socks. I knew that there had to be another way in. And, well, it took some searching, but that's how I found this. Why hadn't I thought of something like that? Why did it have to be Ryuta? If you're trying to brag, don't expect a red carpet award from me. What I'm trying to tell you, kid, is that even the richest school in all of Isamu has a crappy security system. I, one man, outsmarted it just like this. To be fair, they probably weren't expecting a serial killer to be in their faculty. Ha! Sloppy work on their part. Let's go. The night isn't getting any younger, and nor am I. Oh, Jesus Christ. He turns and slides into the corridor, moving so fluidly that his head stays perfectly even over the ground. I then notice that his careful steps renders him virtually silent, like a predator hunting down a piece of injured prey. It's a simple matter of exiting the building, turning the corner, and entering the classroom complex. He leads me up the stairs to the second floor, the floor where I saw Rui. He pulls open the door, lifting an eyebrow at me. I only stare inside the dim gloom. Inside the dim gloom, suddenly filled with dread. Everything could be a trap. Rui could have been removed. Shigure could be lying. There are so many moving components to this encounter. So many potential things that could go completely wrong. I turn my gaze to Ryuta, who only jerks his head at the door in a distinctly more impatient fashion. Impatience. I file this nugget into the back portion of my mind that's still miraculously working. Then, with one deep breath, I enter the classroom. Ryuta follows straight behind me, announcing my appearance with a low crow. Oh God, I'm so terrified. I am going to save right here, just for the sake of it. Sake of saving purposes, just in case. And the delinquent arrives at last! He pushes up his sleeves as if he's getting ready for work, tossing his keys and phone on top of the desk, probably in an effort to unburden himself for whatever he has planned. I stop abruptly, my eyes roving frantically across the classroom, searching empty space. There! Huddled in the back corner of the room are 3 desolate figures, each tied firmly to their chairs. One of them, with streaks of orange hair shining softly in the scant moonlight, is Rui. For a moment, I see nothing else. My eyes fix on her and my throat closes. Happy? I shuffled forward, a choked whimper tearing out of my mouth before I can stop it. It's only after seeing her that the weight falls, that I realize how long it's been since we've last spoken, that I realize how much I missed her, that I remember what life was like without her. I brace my hands against the desk to keep myself from collapsing bonelessly to the ground, forcing slow and steady breaths into my lungs. Still alive and before my eyes. She screams something muffled against her gag and kicks the wall. The abrupt noise stops me in my tracks. Oh? It seems the damsel in distress wants to share some lovely little words. Clearly amused, he stands to his feet and swaggers over to the chairs. In one fluid motion, he flourishes something from the teacher's desk and holds it high in the air. A knife, serrated and sickly, the blade glinting coldly at the edges. With a jolt of panic, I leap forward. Don't! He slices down. Time freezes. The tip of the knife whisks forward and over, straight towards Rui's skull, searing the air below and into, and at the last possible moment, pulls back and neatly shreds the knot of her gag. The cloth flutters elegantly in the air, coming to rest on the linoleum below. Linoleum below. Why is it that I can't speak when everything is going down? When all the shit is going down, I can't speak very well. I force a ragged breath as Ryuta screeches. Oh, kid, the look on your face. Priceless. Priceless. I slump against the desk, my relief too great to allow room for anger. Instead, I stare at Rui, her eyes, her hair, the tip of her nose, letting the memorized image remind me of home. comfort, teasing loud Christmas dinners and scented candles at a town festival, whispered inside jokes, elbows in the ribs, playing make-believe like two idiots. Rui.
What the hell are you thinking, Yama? Why would you come here?
Her voice changes octaves with every syllable, and her eyes are full of tears. But despite her terror, she's only worrying about me. I clear my throat and croak something incomprehensible, then try again. You're okay.
Yeah, but not for long. Why didn't you just stay home?
Because I couldn't leave her to die. Because I had to do something. I guess I got lazy. Being lazy? She snorts out a choked laugh, something almost frantic, as if she didn't mean to laugh, but she couldn't help it.
Well, there's a surprise.
She sends me a weak smile. I turn to Rita, who only smiles lazily in response. You see, I'm a good sport, so very accommodating. You won't find an executioner of my tier anywhere else in the world. Executioner? Executioners kill for a purpose. Executioners are given targets by other people. Is it possible to get any information out of him? Executioner? Executioner? You mean a glorified hunting dog? So I say with an attempt in a cold, flat tone, but to my dismay, my voice cracks. This only seems to heighten Ryuta's glee. Hunting? Oh no, hunting is meant for practical purposes. Hunting is for the meat, or the hide, or the money from sales. I like to think of myself as a gardener, pruning dead weight so the branches with actual promise can grow. My id is my employer, my ego the employee. And don't think I don't know what you're doing. Scrapping for time won't bring the police any closer, boy. Do you realize that you sound... No more provocations. It's time for school to begin its session. He abruptly pounds the handle of his knife against his desk, blasting my ears with the sudden sound. My heart instinctively jumps into my throat. He snickers quietly at the shock that must be evident on my face. Welcome, class. Hate to say it, but you're now in a remedial session. Suffice to say, you've all screwed up in a big way, and it's my job to whip you back into shape. How I hate it, but someone in this snooty little elementary school has to smack the hands of the naughty ones. He suddenly whips to me, his eyes blazing fire, pointing the tip of his knife right at my chest. You! Why aren't you sitting down? Oh my god, man! Calm the fuck down! Jesus Christ! Fucking calm your dick. God damn. He has like a fucking rage boner on right now. God damn, man. Calm your boner. Keep it in your pants. I'm underage. Keep your rage boner in your pants. I'm underage. You little child molester. Molestation. I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. You, why are you sitting down? I sit down, throat dry. Ruta's shoulders immediately relax. Good, that's exactly how I like it. Now, Ishimoto, is it? Since you came in late, you get to be my special assistant. My body goes cold. My eyes immediately turn to the knife. Ruta, reading my intentions, chuckles. Oh, don't look so scared, boy. You'll help me discipline. Sounds like a much better position to be in, doesn't it? Relief courses through me, and I hate myself for it. I'll give you a little choice, boy. Listen carefully, because it's an important one. Each of us needs to discipline someone else. That's a given. This is a remedial class after all. But I'll give you two fabulous options out of the goodness of my heart. Either my disciplinee will be darling little Rui, and yours will simply be that plastics class skeleton. Or both of us will work on those other students, since when we're... Ah, right, the two strangers sitting by Rui. I look to the back of the room, sizing up the three figures. The first is a girl, the second a boy. I don't recognize either of them, but they look young, maybe in their first year. They're speechless, but even from where I sit, I can see the sweat rolling from their temples and dripping onto their necks, and their knees are clearly shaking. Both of them absolutely terrified, innocent bystanders pulled into this sick, dastardly game. Rui is next to them. Unlike the others, she is completely still, eerily so, like she's been turned into stone. But when I meet her gaze, I see nothing but tears of fear in her eyes. She's ungagged. In a different circumstance, she would have volunteered immediately in order to save the other two students. She would have been brave and fiery and everything the world knows her for. The fact that she isn't saying a word tells me just how scared she is. My eyes drift back to Ryuta, who only tilts his head. The knife twitches in his hand, and I suddenly piece everything together. He is a discipliner. I am a discipliner. Whatever he's planning on doing, I will have to copy. If he breaks bones, so must I. If he saws through limbs, so must I. And if I don't, then all of us will be killed, right here, right now. Because the only thing keeping him playing along is me. I could pick the class skeleton. I would only have to maim plastic, stop on plastic, break everything. Everything would be safe. But then Rui would be in the hands of Ryuta, and watching Rui get hurt, I don't think I could bear it. I came here to save her, letting her die in Ryuta's hands. No, there has to be a different way. But then what? The other two students? That's 2 lives instead of 1. 2 bodies instead of 1. Objectively, it's the worst decision in every way. Ryuta knows this, because he knows me, sometimes better than I know myself. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The ultimate trade-off. I can't give up Rui. I just can't. But forcing 2 other students to suffer? Just who do I pick? Well, obviously we're gonna pick the 2 students because that is the correct answer! For the good ending, I suppose. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's getting intense. I don't know how long I'm gonna record this for. I try to speak, but it comes out as a croak. Desperately, I clear my throat and try again. Let's work on the 2 other students. The reactions are immediate. Ryuta's face lights up in a manic smile. Rui's jaw drops, and the other 2 students explode. You bastard! You damn bastard! I can't believe you! Please, don't hurt my sister. Don't hurt me. This makes me freeze. Brother and sister? I silently watch as Ryuta gleefully skips over to the chairs, dragging the 2 students over. Rui gasps, breathlessly. Brother and sister, the cruelty will never end. I swear if you lay 1 finger on my brother! Ryuta stops abruptly. The momentum throws the girl against the ropes, temporarily choking her into silence. Isn't she so Isn't she just so darling? I picked her out specifically for you, boy. You did, you. Oh, yes, and she gets to be yours. My mind runs blank as the girl glares at me, hate burning clear in her eyes. You're disgusting. And I say nothing. It vaguely dawns on me that I should direct her anger at the serial killer, at the psychopath who orchestrated this entire thing. But can I really? They still had hope. Hope that they would go unscathed, that only 1 person would have to suffer rather than 2. I crushed that hope, the last hope they ever had, and now they'll die for it, agonizingly, with nothing but despair. Instead, my reply is automatic and empty. I'm sorry. I fully expect her to spit my face, but she only turns her head away. Hisao, look at me! Look at me, Hisao! The terrified boy locks eyes with her, face doused in a mixture of tears and sweat. He'll be okay. It'll be okay. Do you understand? It won't be. It'll be okay. I look at Ryuta, expecting him to slap her into silence, but he only leans against the wall, grinning like he's having the time of his life. Of course, he must be having a field day. The pleasure of pain brings him more joy than death itself. I get the sudden urge to laugh, and I don't know why.
Yama.
The airy voice from the corner reminds me of Rui's presence. She's staring quietly at the scene before her, face bleached white.
You're not going to hurt her, are you?
Guilt, terror, regret, anguish. We must both be feeling their full effects. Close your eyes, Rui. She stifles a quiet sob. I turn to Ryuta. Now that everything's set up, I need you to untie Rui. You know I can't do anything to you while you still have that knife, and neither can she. And neither of us will leave the other person to die either. Only because you're the teacher's pet boy. He stalks over to Rui's chair and cleanly slices at her bonds. She promptly clasps her hands together, breathing deeply. Don't run, Rui. He'll kill both of us.
I won't.
I turn back to Ryuta, hands sweaty against the fabric of my jacket. So, what are the rules of the game? Oh, it's quite simple. He strides behind the teacher's desk and pulls something out underneath. My heart drops. 2 metal pipes, around 3 feet in length, rough around the edges. He rolls one to me. I automatically stoop down and pick it up. We'll take turns inflicting blows on our disciplinees. Good, solid blows that make a nice musical sound. The first discipliner who knocks out or kills the disciplinee loses. The boy bawls at this point. Even the girl is shocked into silence. The first person to fall unconscious means a loss, which means I have to inflict pain without the promise of comfort. If I want to win, or at least not lose, each blow needs to be felt by their conscious mind. And in that moment, I'll be just like Ryuta. Oh, don't give me that face, boy. Be glad I didn't pick the knife. I mean, I'm pretty tempted to, but then you'd probably lapse, and that's just boring. Something like this needs to be remembered. So, are we ready to begin? No, I'm certainly not ready. I'll never be. I shift the pipe in my hand, feeling its weight. It's hefty, sturdy. Could easily break bones, probably shatter a skull. Oh my god, I just realized! I just remembered that my sister got a fucking pole shoved through. Oh my god, this must be fucking traumatizing. Oh my god. And it's in my hands. I'll go first. Watch and learn. He stands over the boy, gripping the pipe tightly in one hand, keeping the knife in the other. I watch transfixed, even while everything in my brain is screaming for me to turn away and close my eyes. The boy whimpers quietly, eyes wide, scrubbing about the crude ropes that bind him to his chair. Ryuta smirks quietly at him and ruffles his hair. Not gonna lie to you, kid. This is gonna hurt like hell. No! Ryuta, not gonna lie to you, kid. This is gonna hurt like hell. Ryuta raises the pipe painstakingly slow, reveling in the drama of the moment. I might have laughed if the situation wasn't so sick. 3, 2, 1. He whips the pipe down, but when it's just an inch away from the boy's kneecaps, he stops. Psych! The boy releases a great shuddering gasp, shoulders dropping in relief. Then, without a moment of hesitation, Ryuta lifts the pipe and brings it down. Oh! Fuck! Gross! Crack goes bone against metal, and the air splits from the impact of a horrifying, agonized scream, punctuated by a shrill screech of metal as the base of the chair grinds against the ground from the force of impact. The boy still screaming as Ryuta steps back, an expression that I've never seen before dawning on his face. Oh, beauty, true beauty, how poignant is your sting! He giggles quietly to himself as the boy writhes against his chair, leg forced into an awkward angle. Damn it! This can't go on. I realize it quietly through the empty shock as my fingers tighten around the pipe. I can't let this go on. Is there a way to outthink the situation? Anything at all? When it's needed most, my mind fails me. Well, your turn, boy. 4 students, including me. 4 lives at stake. 2 thrust in the middle of terrible suffering. I originally came with the intention to just grab as much time as I possibly could. I thought I could prevent a death, maybe 2. But there's no sign of the police, not even the slightest indicator that they'll come at all. And now, death is looking like the best option. To buy time, I'd have to draw out this game, causing as much pain to this girl as she can bear, while the boy suffers beyond description. And if the police don't come, we'll still end up dead. I can crack this girl's skull, give her a merciful end, and then I lose, and Rito unleashes his knife on the rest of us. Or, if I move really fast, I can maybe put an end to both her and her brother, in which case it will only be down to Marie and me. No, Shiguri said she would come. She swore she would come. She promised, she told me. Stop dallying about, boy. We haven't got all day. We're going to stall. We're not going to attack Rita. I wish we could, but we have to stall. We have to stall 4 times. Pipes? Don't you think it's a little, I don't know, dated? Just because something is old-fashioned doesn't mean it's bad. We're gonna stall again. I don't see what you mean. Sure you do. Never been an avid fan of change, have you? We're gonna wait, so this is the 2nd time. 3rd time. So you're saying that I'm stuck in my ways. We all have a natural tempo. Nothing wrong with that. Wait. Is that 3rd time? This is the 3rd time, right? Alright. 4. That's certainly a positive outlook. I know what you're trying to do, kid. Cut it out. Make your choice now. Okay, so that was the 4th time. So, we're gonna hit the girl. In a situation like this, it seems like the only option is to go with the flow. I automatically step forward, knuckles turning white as I raise the pipe. Shiguri said she would bring the police. Shiguri needs me to buy time. Buying time means abiding by the game, drawing it out, pain without mercy, conscious damage. Yama, please! Close your eyes. The voice that comes up from my mouth is cold and blank, nothing like my own. I keep my eyes open as I swing the pipe down, knowing that I'd only endanger the girl further if I close them. I see the pipe descend. I see the girl's eyes widen. I see... The vibration... I hope you like my screams, by the way. The vibration rocks from the tip of the pipe up through my arms to my eyes, just rattle in their sockets. I feel the impact of her arm giving way beneath my own hands. Oh man, I don't even know how long I'm gonna record this for. This is probably gonna take like an hour and a half to finish the game. I don't know. Or maybe more. Something in me, something I hadn't known was there, slings away into the shadows, gone forever. The girl gasps for breath as her brother bursts into tears. No! A brother, a sister, doomed to die. I step back, hands shaking uncontrollably. Rorito only throws back his head and laughs. Oh yes! Yes, that's it! I was worried for a moment, thinking that you'd pansy out. But you mean business right now, don't you? There must be something. Some other way, some advantage, something that doesn't involve this. I still myself, keeping my eyes fixed on the girl before me. Faking shock? Maybe. I can't say that I'm really faking. Meanwhile, I let my mind cast about the room, mentally recalling every sensory memory that it shoveled away as I entered the classroom, searching for some miraculous solution. The door sprung open beneath my touch as I stepped into the classroom, my figure enveloped in the nighttime gloom. Rorito stormed behind me, letting every footstep vibrate through the floor, up the doorframe, into the foundations of the building itself. He was enjoying himself, maybe a little too much. He was waiting for this moment, I think. The students that he'd carved into pieces might have pleasured him temporarily, but this night, this would be his magnum opus, and he'd want to relive it 1,000 times over. He grinned with confidence as he cupped his hands around his mouth. And the delinquent arrives at last! I shuffle further into the room, squinting into the darkness of the furthest corners, my breath shallow and my palms sweaty, palm spaghetti. In the meantime, Rorito pushed pushed his sleeves and crossed his keys and phone, and tossed his keys and phone on top of his desk. That was when I saw Ruri. Wait. Tossed his keys and phone on top of his desk. There was one thing that I'd overlooked. The mole and the police. No matter how quickly and secretly Shiguri might act, there's still a high chance that she'll be found out. After all, it only took a few minutes for that mole to relay the news to Ryuta. This time it shouldn't be any different. Any time now, a phone call could warn Ryuta, tell him to get away, and that would be the end. It doesn't matter if I manage to distract him with this game. It's not like he'll ignore a phone call from his accomplice. In that case, I need to get rid of that phone. I have a pipe in my hands, and I'm just a step away from the desk. The main problem is breaking it without Ryuta noticing, or if he does notice, he won't think that I'm knowingly sabotaging him. Hello, Earth to Yama Ishimoto? What, is this a little too much for you? My voice catches and squeaks, which makes me sound exceedingly helpless. That's a good thing. Ryuta giggles quietly, but his eyes are narrowed. This must be a little rough, Do you feel like you're hitting your poor, poor sister? I wouldn't worry. She's already dead. You know that. I grip the pipe tighter, my knuckles whitening with pressure. The rough edges of the metal start to cut into the palm of my hand. I welcome the anger, the panic, the helplessness that's swirling through my blood, gathering it into one tangled ball of black emotion. Must still be sour for you, kid, no? Would you rather hit the little boy? Shut up. Yama, please, don't listen to him. Come to think of it, maybe you'd have some fun if you had the boy. You'd finally get an outlet for all that self-hatred. Yama! He's just trying to get to you. You can fight it. Shut up, you bitch! With frightening speed, he bounds across the classroom and seizes Rui by the hair, yanking backward until her neck is at an unnatural angle. You know I liked you at first, but now you're just a little yapping dog. I should slit your throat right now. Feed your esophagus to that brat over there. He gestures to the boy who's fastened to the chair. Rui makes an instinctive whimper deep in her throat. Do we have an understanding? Yes. Do we have an understanding, you blathering whore? Yes! Well, goddamn! Something locks in my brain, and all my emotions drain away until I feel like an empty automaton. You shouldn't have touched her. My vision blurs with rage as I raise the pipe with both hands, my arms shaking. Cold. Everything feels so cold. The edges of my lips pull into an unbidden smile as a fleeting vision passes before my eyes. Ryuta's body, battered and broken at my feet, waiting for me to make an imprint. I seize the vision, even as a deeper part of my mind shrinks away in horror. I let it control me. You shouldn't have touched Rui Hayata. I slam the pipe down with as much force as possible. The metal pulses against the floor with an ear-splitting crack! Splinters of something white and shiny shoot away from the point of impact like a spray of bullets. The boy and the girl shrink back in their chairs, staring at me with wide eyes. It's irrelevant. Get away from her. I let my voice increase in volume. I let it shake. I let it steep with madness and fury. Ryuta steps back inadvertently, not out of fear, but out of surprise. He almost seems pleased with my transformation. I lunge forward, my voice exploding shrilly out of my throat. Get away! Get away from her, or I'll kill you! I start swinging the pipe madly, like an unbalanced marionette on a string, letting the end swivel into desk, chairs, walls, anything. I rush at Ryuta, but he nimbly weaves between the desks and tightens the grip on his own pipe. My pipe passes within an inch of Ryuta's face as I whirl around, bowling in Ryuta's direction towards the desk. I vaguely register a look of open horror from Rui, but I flick it away from my mind like a gnat. I lunge at Ryuta with a full force blow, swinging down, letting out a vicious scream. And just as I was hoping, Ryuta is startled by my sudden burst of energy and instinctively dodges to the side instead of blocking my blow. My pipe slices downward and splits the polished surface of the teacher's desk, sending shards of wood flying. The impact rattles up my arms and into my skull. But most importantly, I've hit Ruda's phone dead center. It shatters into the new pile of rubble, the resulting crackle masked by the destruction. I don't dare to take a pause. I can't celebrate the small victory. Instead, I let my anger fester and take hold of the pipe in my hands. I'll kill you right here, Ruda! I swing again at him and he steps back, adjusting the grip on his pipe. He's getting ready to counterattack. The momentum in my arms carries my weapon straight into the wall, sending the plaster cracking. I let loose a scream of frustration, something that rips my throat raw and ricochets against the broken wall. From the corner of my periphery, I can register Rui clasping her hands. Yama, please, stop! Is that the best you've got, kid? Yeah, you still haven't landed a single hit on this old man. I don't let myself think. I just swing the pipe unblinkingly at his head, knowing that it won't hit. And Maria drops down, just as I suspect. His eyes widen with glee, and he swings his own pipe in one hand, and my stomach suddenly lurches back against my spine with a piercing hammer of agony. I'm sent sprawling to the ground, and Rui's screaming faintly in my ears, "Yama!" And then the coldness, the numbness, the emptiness, it all melts away, and I suddenly feel weary, like every footstep is being pulled through mud. The bull of pent-up aggression in my gut is replaced with a pounding soreness from the impact of Ryuta's pipe. For a moment, I let myself lie there, splinters of wood and plaster pricking into my back. It would be so easy to just close my eyes and sleep. Let this whole world drift away. Get up, boy. Game's not over yet. Unless you mean to forfeit? Ah, that's right. I can't forfeit because there's other lives on the line. That's what I came here for. To help these other people. To save some lives. I start to push myself up, but my abdomen clenches in pain. I gracelessly fall back to the ground! My back stinging from the tiny daggers of fragments embedded into the ground. So, no forfeit? Pity. I turn onto my side and try again. This time, I lean on the remains of the desk, cradling an arm against my aching stomach. Where was that energy from a split second ago? Why am I suddenly so tired? I guess I tend to charge ahead when I have a purpose. Without that purpose, I just run on a broken engine. I needed to break the phone. Now I've broken it. What's left? Wait, how long? When will Shigure come? Cute play, boy. I see what you're trying to do. My veins fill with dread, and it takes every ounce of self-control for me to not cast a glance at the buried phone. Unfortunately for you, noise isn't an issue. You can throw a tantrum all day and no one will hear a thing. The new curfew keeps kids in the dorm court. No one's gonna take a stroll around the classrooms when they could be playing foosball in the common room. I don't have energy to respond. I don't even feel my face move. Gradually, the cold, welcoming emptiness in my mind is dissipating, replaced with the creeping sense of utter what? Something dark, black, something that feels like it's squeezing my temples and smothering my nostrils until I can't breathe. Well, that was an interesting intermission. Must be my turn again, no? He weighs the pipe casually in his hand. Like he's adjusting his hold on a baseball bat, and lifts it over his shoulder. I only register his words when he steps forward, sidling closer to the boy's side. Suddenly, past the bolt of pain in my diaphragm, I'm screaming, "No!" Ah! I automatically close my eyes at the moment of impact, but that doesn't make the crunch of his collapsing bone any less loud. Ruda struck the boy's hand this time. I keep my eyes off of it, scared at witnessing the damage for myself, but judging from the boy's shocked stare, it's just as bad as it sounds. Please don't hurt him. Oh, I wouldn't worry if I were you. You'll be getting your fair share of the pain. She groans at this, loud and anguished, bubbling in her throat like a clot of blood. Breaking the phone wasn't enough. There has to be more, something else I can do. Are you enjoying this? A filler, as my mind scrambles for something more adequate. Why, yes, I am. Thanks for asking. And you even enjoyed the previous students? They were alright, but this little show has been the best by far. It's like playing chess against a toddler versus playing chess against a rival. One just doesn't bring that satisfying challenge, you know? I can't feel good about pulling a checkmate on a little kid who's not even potty trained. He's becoming more talkative, taking his focus off the game, even if it's just a little bit. I seized this with desperation. Maybe they were more of a challenge than you thought. I figured you out, just from the clues that they dropped. At this bold claim, Maruda tilts his head like a broken doll. I see the deranged gears in his head picking up speed ever so slowly. Because Maruda doesn't like games with only pain, suffering, energy. Maruda likes to think. Maruda is intelligent. Maruda would look for a battle of wits just as readily. Even this pipe game, it's a twisted mix of sadism and psychology. His mind clashing against mine, trying to make me succumb to his methods. Maybe there's a way to pique his interest and bring the floor back into balance. It's the last hope I have. You always were a sharp kid, weren't you? I had high expectations for you, but you've exceeded every one of them. You deserve a gold star. I hope you know that a gold star isn't exactly a great incentive at this moment. Oh, but I read that positive reinforcement is better than punishment, particularly when it comes to children. To be fair, I've always thought of it as a ruse. Punishment gets results. You just need to look at history to realize that. It's because of whips and taskmasters that the ancient pyramids and the great terracotta army were built. Meanwhile, what has modern humanity done? Skyscrapers? What beauty do those hold? They're glorified prisons, cages of metal and glass, meant to trap and pathetic little animals. Is that what you consider success, building something big? Some people just prefer happiness. Happiness. What a subjective measure of reality. At least impressive structures are tangible. They are made of strong material, carved to loom above the common populace. When you look up, you realize the depth of man's significance. Happiness. What can measure happiness? How many smiles I send per day? Oh, let's not forget the first world dream. Living in a mansion with a Ferrari and thousands of servants. Nothing brings happiness, but so much brings awe. This is just a meaningless stall for time, but I'll take it. He's starting to warm up, and weirdly enough, so am I. Maybe happiness is subjective, but does it really bring fulfillment? Doesn't it? Haven't you ever stood on the precipice of a great chasm and just thought, oh, I could just die happy at this moment? It's an unparalleled feeling in the world, child. You seem to be regarding me with skepticism. Then, pray tell, what is your opinion? What makes you happy in this foolish little world? What makes me happy? Something about the question seems to be a trap. Is he waiting for something to use against me? Is it time for another layer of psychological warfare? My friends, I could say. My friends make me happy. Then he'd point out how none of them were here, how I've endangered the only one who mattered, how friends are simply an arbitrary term for a circle of useless acquaintances. All I would feel is despair. Then what else could I offer as an answer? Being alive. Being alive to do what? Feel and experience everything that life has to offer. Then Maruda would say that if the gift of life is enough to bring happiness, then everyone should always be happy. the slave beneath a whip, the trafficked girl in a brothel, the prisoner of war on a rack. And again, I would only feel despair. What makes me happy? What fuels me to get up in the morning and keep going? Altruism? Hardly. I think most people in the world are pretty stupid and don't deserve to live. Love? Yeah, as if I'm a fountain of affection. What is there to fuel me? What makes me happy? Anything I think of, I know that Ruida can warp and use against me. He'll try to break me with my own words. Oh? Have I been caught? A shame we had to meet under these circumstances, child. Your mental faculties are truly impressive. Do you understand the theme of my lecture? I can't say I do. Will there be a study guide? You're already in the test, boy. I'm afraid it's too late. Simply put, he who has the most drive has the most strength, and he who has the most strength has the most power. Look at you. You can't even tell me what makes you happy, whereas I gave a confident answer. Why do you suppose that you are so powerless while here I stand invincible? He even took my lack of an answer and used it against me. I tried to tell myself that it was the right decision. Are you saying that you won? I'm just reporting facts. But even if I'm weaker, I can still beat you. I already beat you. Nobody was supposed to know that you were responsible for the killings, the recent ones or the independent ones. Ruida stops in his tracks, his eyes glinting. Well, whatever the independent killings were, looks like he really was the person behind them. It's a breather that I desperately seize. I try to cover my fatigue by flinging a challenging look in his direction. You've been busier than I thought. Doesn't seem to be too hard. People don't tend to expect much of me. But you've even made friends in high places, High places? This throws me for a loop. What does he mean by high places? I got that information from Natsuki, and she lives in a shabby apartment in District 6. No, I can't be distracted. I have to keep the conversation flowing, make him lose track of time. Just how many people have you killed? The Aztecs had this remarkable belief system. Would you like to hear it? I just asked a question. In order to appease the gods, to keep the universe running smoothly, they were to offer constant human sacrifices. Priests would rip out the hearts of prisoners of war while they were yet alive. If they slacked in performing this ritual, the kingdom as they knew it would fall to pieces. That's why you kill people? To keep Isamu running? What kind of reason is that? Oh, what? Do you think I'm the priest? His voice drops and takes on a tint of something unfamiliar. My spine tingles in apprehension. I am not the priest, child. I am the god. I receive bodily offerings. I do not give them myself. The city must earn my goodwill, lest I paint the streets red with my vengeance. The ones who scorned me will be obliterated by the very words of their own mouth. Oh, dear child, you know nothing of the beauty of pure, unadulterated strength. I open my mouth, willing a snarky remark to come forth, but there's nothing. My hands are shaking, tightened against my throbbing stomach. What kind of madness has seized this guy? I straighten and open my mouth wider, hoping that something will come out, anything. If I don't say anything, if I don't distract him, even if it means I have to listen to more of this insanity. Your antics amuse me, boy, but our intermission must come to an end. We must return to our little game. Too late. The opportunity's been lost, and now I'm rattled, and I can't recover. In terms of psychological damage, he's won handily. I don't think it could have happened any other way. Like a puppet master overseeing a play, he has total control over every scene. Well, boy, it's your turn. What is your move? We're going to... Okay, now, we're going to stall 3 times, alright? I'm going to count each time. 1. I can't keep hitting her. It's a pity that life doesn't change, whether you can or can't do something. 2. This is the 2nd time. Stall. Why? Did that happen to you? Oh, are we having a little heart-to-heart? And 3, stop. Then something must have happened. Something that turned you pretty bitter. You'd love it if that were true, wouldn't you? Hurry up, clock's ticking, boy. Alright, we're gonna hit the girl now. I have no other option. I have to just follow along. My hands shake as I step closer, raising the pipe. Maybe I can get away with hitting softer? No, it's a dumb idea. I know it's a dumb idea. Ryota would immediately know, and then he'd make me hit her again. I can't close my eyes. Might accidentally kill her if my aim is off. So I keep them wide open until the air pulls tears out of them. Then I swing the pipe. Her arm hangs limply over the edge of the chair, bent in an unusual angle that raises bile to my throat. How must she be feeling at this moment? How can she stand it? Held captive for no reason, every nerve screaming fire at her, begging her consciousness to fade but finding no relief. How can she live through that kind of miserable existence? Oh, I don't even know. Say, kid, you're not looking too hot. Wanna call in a sick day? I doubt that's an option. I want to say something unaffected and cynical. Something that keeps me safe from the mess of the world. Instead, my mouth opens to pull up a topic to divert the conversation. You said you killed people for fun, essentially. Oh, does that bother you? I assume it would bother most people. But if I remember correctly, the Aztecs, well, they killed other strong warriors to transfer that strength to the sun. So, what made you turn on a bunch of helpless students? Even as I asked the question, the inner crevices of my mind whisper quietly, is it worth it? Isn't this just prolonging an agonizing demise? But what other option is there? Come to think of it, earlier you mentioned it being an executioner. Good observation, kid. Let's just say that it's no coincidence that all the victims are connected to the Ikari's son, How fun. You're about to join that number. This makes me falter. Of course, if Yahiko isn't the killer, but he has a connection to every single victim, it has to bear significance. How could I have overlooked that? What do you even have against Yahiko? He's harmless. He's gentle. He feels like a little kid in a broken world, something so stupidly innocent that it's refreshing. I have nothing against Yahiko. You're asking the wrong question. He has nothing against Yahiko, but he's killing people close to him? That's an incredibly drastic maneuver. Why would a serial killer suddenly focus his attentions on someone like Yahiko? No matter how hard I think, the answer eludes me. But I can't falter. I can't let him remember to continue the game. Think. If I were Ryuta, if I were some psychotic man who loved to kill people, inflict extreme agony, then why would I do such a thing? What is Yahiko that I'm not? What does Yahiko have that I don't? Yahiko is arrogant, a dreamer, easily excitable, oblivious. No, these are personality traits. Think deeper. Motive. The Ikari's son, Ryota said before. The Ikaris. If it doesn't have to do with past history, they don't really know each other but that well after all. But then is it because of money? Money. Connections. Yahiko is the son of two higher-ups at Lemnis Gate. If Ryota doesn't have anything against Yahiko, then could he have something against his parents? If you were aiming for Yahiko's parents, it seems a lot more effective to target the people around them. Still have that brain of yours, I see. Yes and no. Since Yahiko is just an easy avenue to his parents. But targeting the people around the parents themselves? Instant suspicion. Not to mention artless and cliché. I thought you'd be smarter than that. A little thought bothers me. Why is he open with this information? No, I don't have time to consider this. Right now, I just have to accept it. Think. More. I am Ryota. Even now, I want to see blood, to hear screams, No, something is clashing. Students aren't a challenge. They're too easy for me, the wretched pests. Their deaths are simple and insignificant. They will be remembered for what, a day, 2, perhaps 5 years by their families. But eventually they will fade into inconsequential nothingness, because they are young and meaningless. Another tally in a long list of missing persons. Whereas if I could get my hands on a politician or a world leader or even a company executive. Mourning for weeks, months, years, remembrance in history books. The man who killed the king, or the president, or the emperor. I shall make my mark on society forever, a beautiful thread filling up the space of an intricate tapestry. But instead, I've decided to kill students, to capture insignificant little rodents just to put pressure on the Ikari family. What a joke. Why am I even doing this? The Ikari family is threatening me? No. Certainly my judgment would be more swift. I would care not about my own death as long as I could have them suffer first. Were they threatening me? Were they threatening me, I would see them in their rooms, the next night with a knife in my hand and a grin on my face. Capital punishment would be insignificant. I would face the chopping block gladly in that case. Money? Perhaps someone is commissioning me with a monetary incentive? As if. I am paid in blood. Currency is of little value to my psyche. If I really needed the pocket change, a few black market inquiries would do. Perhaps I need something money cannot buy. Something that only a certain commissioner has. And the only way to get it is to pressure the Ikaris, even if it means killing rabbits. To do that, I started with someone only slightly related to Yahiko, Midori Meino. They would not even notice. Yahiko may mourn, the compassionate imbecile, but to the Ikaris, it is just an insignificant disappearance. Then Toma Hayashi, who interacted with their son on a greater level in the orientation group that Yahiko led. That may raise some eyebrows and call for suspicion, but nothing that the Ikaris can prove. Next is Akane Tsukino, girlfriend of Shoji, who was close to Yahiko due to the Happy Club. Shoji himself followed thereafter. A spiral of people with Yahiko Ikari as its center. The poor soul would not understand what was going on, but surely his parents would. And in return, I would receive something of enormous value, something that money cannot buy, even if it means that I must sacrifice a portion of my dignity. Oh. ... Yes, I'm gonna be saving throughout this, okay? There's a lot here. ... Yama? You, Marita, are on someone else's payroll? You are a freelancer with a client? You are no artist. You have no satisfaction. How the mighty have fallen. Once a predator, feared by all, able to strike whenever and wherever he so pleased. Now a mindless guillotine with no will of its own. How great is your greed that you would betray your love of art for this. Oh, you fool. You've conquered dogs and rats. Silence. His voice teems of ice, and I feel his psyche writhing in humiliation, and it's just so thrilling. When they screamed, how easy it must have been to forget. Just as a man can distract himself with symphonies, so he distract himself with agony. But when you returned, when you lay your head on your pillow, you must have realized the bitterness of your own insignificance. Rabbits! Pawns! You are pest control! Do not test me, boy. but I'm caught up in the euphoria, a welcome distraction from the never-ending cycle of pain and panic that plagued me before. Selling your soul for a delusion, a pittance. Do you never wish to go back to happier times? A time where you were shadowed with a name? The independent killings, nothing is more fearsome than the unknown. The people who knew about them, were they terrified? Did they huddle in their beds every night, unable to sleep, thinking that they could be next? Did it stroke your ego, knowing that the one who held their fate in his hands was you? Or were those killings also at the discretion of your employer? Were there further connections that the police simply could not deduce? Was that also a primeval commission? Primeval commission? Ryota grits his teeth and digs his fingers into the nearest desk, but he doesn't say a word. Oh god, we're getting him. Well, then I'm right. I'm right about everything. Here you are, the fearsome Cerberus, yet you are bound to a pathetic little leash. Caught up in corporate politics at that, where there's nothing but bigwigs bickering like toddlers. What exactly do you need so badly? I can't imagine you'd be craving love or friendship. Give me a quick reminder. What else can money not buy? Respect? Naturally good looks? Peace of mind? Or, say, an honest politician? Motives, Ryota. Motives are interesting things, aren't they? Everybody likes to think that their motive is special and unique, but in the end, they're all the same. Money, love, power. Which of those apply to you? Or do you still think that you're all that special? That you're something more than an empty little puppet dancing from the strings of someone's fingers? What a sick existence. What an agonizing, wonderfully meaningless exist.
Yama, stop it! This is not winning!
Marie's voice shocks me out of character, like a fish suddenly pulled out of water. I stand idly for a moment, my mind blank. Not winning. Of course. I wanted to win over Ryota. I wanted it so badly that I even became Ryota and let myself stay as him, even though I despise him more than I've ever despised anyone. But even that isn't winning. That's just losing. Because to become Ryota would be just to win the battle and lose the war. I'm already inflicting injury on innocent students with a metal pipe. Just like Ryota would, if I lost my own mind. Cute display, kid. Real cute. He's smiling assuredly. Already recovered. His voice is calm, but I catch a note of tension that wasn't there before. I get the impression that I made a terrible mistake, and if I had proceeded, well, he would have snapped. What would happen if he snapped? Wouldn't we all look like these two students bound to their chairs, broken, helpless, pleading for death? I shouldn't have tried. But what else should I have done? Just gone along with the status quo? Would that have resulted in anything different? No, it's interesting. You're still missing something, aren't you? You think you've read the whole book. You think you know how it ends. You think you know the whole pattern. But you're still blind. You see out of one eye, you see out one out of one eye, boy, but not the other. Missing part of the pattern? I don't understand. Think harder, boy. So, the sequence of deaths has to do with Yahiko. So what? So, what? The broken gear in the back of my mind slowly begins to turn forward. Right. All the deaths revolve around Yahiko. Significantly, specifically over time, those deaths have gotten closer and closer to their epicenter, almost like a whirlpool sucking in its surroundings. Closer to Yahiko. within the school, the closest people to Yahiko. Oh, are me, Rui, and Masato. The inseparable gang that hangs out together, day in, day out, flailing through life with a bunch of rambunctious high school shenanigans. Of course, that was why he'd instantly picked up the phone. That was why he'd been prepared for my call. That was why he kidnapped Rui. Because we were already the next ones on his list. No. Oh? That was quick. Congratulations. To be honest, boy, the Kuragane boy should be here too. But guess what? He goes to bed too early, out like a light, doesn't answer his phone. I even prepared my whole excuse and everything. I suddenly feel so very tired, weighed down. My intellect is fraying away. I can feel my insanity bleeding out from my body. Just let it end. It was all planned from the very beginning. I can't keep holding out. I can't prolong this misery. I try to one-up Ryuta, and I only end up in a worse state than before. If that trend continues... My eyes drift aimlessly to the ground, the pipe swaying limply between my fingers. Blood, dripping quietly from the chairs. A small amount, a terrifyingly small amount, given how much damage we inflicted. How much internal bleeding must there be? How much pain? Now I know Ryuta's motive and history, so what? I'm still an accomplice in manslaughter, bit by bit wiping out the opportunities in this girl's life. The dream of playing on a sports team. The dream of being a pianist. The dream of marrying a normal guy and having normal kids. Shamelessly and brutally striking those dreams from existence with no method of recovery. She's someone who actually has opportunities in life, and they're being taken away by someone else. The injustice of the world. You'd better be grateful that I'm a patient man. A lesser being would have peeled your forearm in layers for your insolence. The mental image pulses in front of my eyelids and I stumble backward, nausea surging through my throat. That's right, I'm just a kid trying to fight a seasoned serial killer. What was I thinking? I used my hands and pushed against the desk, shakily trying to prop myself on my feet. I only collapsed bonelessly to the ground, legs like gelatin. I can't continue this way, not much longer. I see blood on the edge of the pipe in my hands. Blood that's not there, blood that I know isn't there, but blood that still sweeps down the metal and coats my hands. All is silent save for the strangled sobs of two injured children, two dying siblings side by side. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I guess it's my turn again. You know, I'm really giving you an advantage here by going first. Now you'll always be one hit ahead. Please, let's just stop. He ignores my faint whisper and steps forward, adjusting his grip on the pipe. The boy whimpers, incomprehensible words spilling out of his mouth. Okay, I'm just looking ahead because I have to make sure I get things right. So, next I need to stall, then hit the girl, then stall 3 times, then hit the girl, and then... Well, you're gonna have to find out the last one. I'm not gonna give it away right now. That'd spoil the fun! Huh? Sorry, kids, but the world doesn't listen to begging, and neither will I. He swings the pipe with vindictive justice. Perhaps a payback for my insolence. I flinch instinctively this time, barely missing the moment of impact. And then a chair screeching against the ground, a piercing scream that rends the air. A light, sweet chuckle from a man who's lost his mind. As I force my eyes open, I catch an unfamiliar, pungent smell. Vomit, dripping from the boy's mouth, pooling over the sides of his chair to the floor below. My stomach turns over. My grip rattles against the pipe. Oh, yes. This is life, children! The beauty of pain has no substitute. I step forward, forcing words out of my dry mouth. We need to stop. I can't handle this. Rhoda swivels on me, the joy in his eyes immediately dissipating. We're just getting to the good part. You saying you're gonna forfeit? Quitters never prosper, boy, and you wonder why you've never prospered. I drop to my knees, harder than I intend. The shakiness of my limbs give my legs a solid blow against the ground. This is no longer an act. Groveling and showing vulnerability, it's not just another strategy anymore. I have no other way out, no other hope. Please, don't do this. Do what? I can't find the words, so I only sweep my hand around the room. Oh, all of this? The whole captivity thing, the game, the fun? I manage a nod. Then, will you lick my shoe? He stamps a foot in the puddle of the boy's vomit. Oh god, gross. That's disgusting. No. Shaking it teasingly at me. I don't make a move. I'm waiting. I open my mouth, fighting for words. Nothing comes. The vomit gleams on the God damn. The vomit gleams on the sole of his shoe, mocking me. Rui makes an instinctive sound of distress, gripping her chair with whitened hands. I stare at the shoe, willing myself to lean forward. I don't move. You see, boy, you're not ready to really beg. Why? Because you're still clinging to your pride, pathetic as it is. Some part of you believes that you still have control over the situation. Some part of you believes that some miracle will bail you out. If you were really ready to beg, if you really threw away your pride, you wouldn't be aiming for the limbs, no? When you hold that pipe, you would be aiming right at the skull. That is your only hope right now. The only hope of all of you. Death. But sadly for you, I don't like to rush my executions. It's just such a waste. I shakily clambered to my feet, weighing my arms on the table to pull myself up. Pride? Belief? Control over the situation? Do I really have any of those things? Maybe he's right. Maybe if I was really hopeless, I would have already crushed 2 skulls and resigned myself to a long, excruciating death. But here I stand, with the pipe, ready to hit again. Why? So, now that your little dramatic stint has ended, I believe it's time for your turn? He tilts his knife against the moonlight in Rui's direction, sending a fresh reminder of the stakes. We're going to stall one time. So you don't like to rush? I know your little tricks, boy, and I'm not in the mood to entertain them. Okay, we're gonna hit the girl. I grab the pipe, arms shaking as I raise it over my shoulder. But aren't you stuck here forever? The fight, isn't it getting too tiring? Aren't you exhausted? You're not strong enough to face this. I shake my head and squeeze my eyes shut, trying to knock the voices out of my head. We can't do this, Yama! This is wrong! We can't! I swing the pipe. No! The pipe drops out of my shaking fingers. I lean heavily against the nearest desk, my knees too weak to support my weight. I can't do this. Oh, sure you can. You're doing great. Rita lifts the pipe over the boy, whose face is coated in a mixture of sweat and tears, slicking his hair against his forehead. The boy's eyes slide to mine, begging silently, hating the day he was born. Rita sends an icy smirk with a sheen of madness, reminding me of my earlier behavior. Payback, he seems to be saying, but I do nothing. The note is raw this time, raw from an overused throat that's been screaming far more than it should. When it descends into silence, I can hear the breaths of the 2 students rattling in their lungs, shallow and anguished. Blood is starting to trickle from their mouths, slowly down the corner of their jaw and dripping onto their pristine uniforms. Death would be the far better option. How much time has passed? It feels like days, stretched out and pushed against each other. Practically, I know that it can't be more than a few hours. The sun hasn't started rising yet, but holding out for this long only seems like delaying the inevitable. We've been here for almost 2 hours now. Like, come on. Where the fuck is Shiguri when you need her? And in the meantime, harming innocents along the way. Why did it have to be you? Who? Be specific, boy. I thought I wished it wasn't you. Shape up and tell me. Ambiguity helps no one. You shouldn't have been the killer, Ryota. He was supposed to help me. He was supposed to get me through school, through drama, through life. Not this. Never this. Oh, shit. Oh. Okay, so I already stalled and I hit the girl. I have to stall 3 times. So 1, I thought that you were with us. Why do you feel betrayed? Stall number 2. I thought, of all people, it wouldn't be you. Unfortunately, that is a fallacy in your own thinking. And the 3rd time, stall. But, why you? You know nothing, boy. Quit your dawdling. So now we're gonna hit the girl. I raise the pipe, but my grip falters as my eyes turn to the girl. She no longer has hate in her gaze. She doesn't even have the slightest hint of anguish. Everything is just empty. I whisper it again, that trivial excuse that does nothing to help the situation. I'm sorry. This time, though, she responds quietly, moving nothing but her mouth. I know. And I swing the pipe. The blow rebounds against my arms as the bone of her leg fractures beneath the hard metal. The resulting scream is just another repeat, another skip on a broken record player. I falter backward, the pipe rubbing my hands raw, reminds me that every bent limb, every cry of pain is all my own doing. No one held my arm, no one swung the pipe. Every blow was my choice. No one bears that blame but me. And I don't know if I can continue to hold on. There's no sign of sirens in the distance, no janitor making his rounds, not even a student in sight. Just 4 teenagers and a serial killer with a knife. And that had one solid pipe in my hands. I could say that I don't know what to do. I could say that I'm helpless. But it would be far more accurate to say that I know exactly what to do, and I'm just too scared to do it. What, no begging this time? Why, I'm almost disappointed. He strikes the boy again, a brutal blow that crushes his fingers. The boy retches as he screeches, choking on his own vomit. The wet, crumpled cough that results is far more painful to hear than any scream. It's the sound of a human who is slowly dying. Stop it. Please. Somehow. I step to the side of the girl, gripping the pipe so tightly that its rough patches begin to dig into my palms. I've gathered enough time. I've tried my best. The police aren't coming. In a situation where there should have been a way out, any way out, there is none. The only relief I can bring is by murdering as many of these students as I can. Murder. I've heard so many times that taking a life changes you, that once you get blood on your hands, you stop being human. Will that happen in this case? Killing this girl, turning me into a monster? I don't know. I just know that there are 3 innocent students here, and if I don't do something, they'll be stuck in this never-ending cycle of agony. And it would have been better if they just died earlier. It would have been better if I just killed them earlier. I don't want this, but is there any other choice? I just want everyone to be okay. We're gonna kill the girl, because that is the good ending! This is the good ending, guys! This is the good ending! Fucking shit. This is the good end. Achievement unlocked. Ultimate Negotiator. Ultimate Negotiator. God, why the fuck did I say that weirdly? Ultimate Negotiator. What the fuck is going on with my internet? Anyways, that doesn't matter. Kill the girl! But I falter. I stand stiffly, the pipe frozen in my hands. Should I just kill her without a killing bow and let the game continue? Should I just hit her without a killing blow? I'm gonna say blow. And let the game continue? I can't I can't kill her just to take the easy way out, but I don't think I can keep sustaining my sanity. It would be easy. Everything would be over. You don't need to bear this burden. This is what my mind is whispering to me, but I don't know whether to trust it or not. If I could see the ending, I would know. If we somehow end up getting out of this, then wouldn't she be glad to be alive, even with those injuries, because at least she has a second chance at life? This pain, this suffering, it'll hurt and it'll scar, but maybe she could find her dream career, or marry a wonderful husband, something that just makes living worthwhile. But if we won't get out of this, if the only thing that's in store for us is an agonizing death against which we're fighting in futility, it would have been better if I just killed her in the very first stroke. How can I make that judgment? How can I possibly predict that burden? Can I really choose to end someone's life with my own hands? I can't see the ending. I don't understand fate. I wish I could know the answer, but there's nothing for me. No one can see the future. Oh my god, it's almost been 2 hours. Oh, come on, we're almost there. We're almost there. I can do it. We can do it. We're in the home stretch. We're in the home stretch now, guys. We're in it. We're so close. I figure. If you dawdle any longer, kid, Rui gets the short end of the stick. Or the pipe, however you prefer to say it. No more time, no more chances. I've held out as long as I could. I raised the pipe over my head, aiming it directly in line with the girl's skull. She mouths tremulously in understanding and closes her eyes. Acceptance, perhaps even gratitude. Because somehow we've landed in a situation where quick death is merciful. But what if I had been faster? What if I had been smarter? What if I had caught Ryuta before today? None of this would have happened. If I had caught Ryuta before today, none of this would have happened. Why did I sit still in one place and allow this to happen? My arms shaken as I will them to descend. I can't hesitate. I need to strike decisively. If I don't, the result will be only unconsciousness and a splitting headache, and no clean death. This girl doesn't deserve to wake up again in this nightmare. No one does. And with that, I guess it's time to become a murderer. I raised the pipe even higher, counting softly in my head. 3. I'm sorry wasn't enough. 2. I'm sorry you had to face this. 1. Then, from outside the windows, a light blasts into the classroom, followed by the shrill overtones of a megaphone. Finally! Fucking Shikura! You fucking took 2 hours to get your ass over here! God damn!
Jairu Ryuta, stand down. You are surrounded.
Release the students or we will shoot you! Am I hearing things? Is my mind so desperate for a reprieve that it's throwing up whatever it can to stop my pipe? My eyes instinctively search out Rui's. Her expression is a mess. Horror mixed with sorrow, mixed with relief. It's real then. Shigure came. No, wait. It's not over. We're still in this room with Ryuta. 2 students are still in the very dangerous position where they might lose their lives. I glance at Ryuta. He's frozen in shock, his hands automatically patting down his pockets, searching for his phone. The phone that I'd smashed to pieces with a metal pipe. It just solidifies my suspicions. He would have been notified if I hadn't managed to break that phone. While Ryuta's still in shock, we have to run now. He'll chase us. He won't be able to stop himself from chasing us. I lock eyes with Ryu, then jerk my head to the door. Thankfully, Ryuta is still transfixed on the scene outside, mouth agape in disbelief. Rui quietly slides from her desk and sidles along the wall. Painful inch by painful inch, she comes closer. Hey! I immediately seize her hand and we tear off, running as fast as we can on shaky legs. We don't spare any words. We only shoot up the stairs, breaking onto the rooftop. The smart thing for Ryuta to do would be staying right where he is, using the 2 remaining students as hostage to secure his escape. But he won't do that. He'll chase after us, furious, bowling anything out of his way to reach us in time. So at this moment, the best thing we can do is run. The air is bitingly cold. It blasts at our faces as I lead Rui to the edge without a break in stride. See that line? See the line that goes through this row of pots? Jump over the edge there.
What?
Jump! To her credit, she does, leaping over the low railing of the rooftop and plummeting to the ground below. Except it's not the ground, but the school pool. The pool over which Yahiko, Masato, and I had stood last year with umbrellas in hand, testing if we could somehow fly with them. I had hated Yahiko for weeks after that moment. I never thought I would be grateful to have joined him. Rui lands safely with a splash and scrambles to the side as fast as she can. I force myself to wait for a few agonizing moments for her to swim out of the way, then vault over the edge and... Oh, no you don't. An overpowering hand snatches my collar and yanks me back, crushing my windpipe against my jacket. I'm slammed against the ground of the rooftop, flat on my back. Ruda stands over me, knife loosely handled between his fingers, toying with the edge of my collar with the tip of his blade. His entire face is saturated in a terrifying mix of fury and ecstasy, something that sends chills down my spine. Cute. Really, boy, that was quite cute. He lifts me up and presses me against the railing, setting the flat of his blade against my cheek. No, it can't end this way. What a good-hearted soul, ensuring the escape of Rui before he jumped. Someone like you needs a reward. He abruptly turns the knife until the edge rests slightly on my cheekbone. I flinch instinctively, which only broadens his grin. If you want to beg, boy, now would be the time to do it. Like a rat sprinting through a maze, searching for its only chance of exiting, my mind races for a solution, something, anything. No, nothing, wait!
Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn in this game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confines of your own abilities just because of her?
My one last chance is this, being vaguely specific. I look Ryota square in the eye, willing my voice to be steady with every last bit of my strength. She was disappointed in you, wasn't she? The result is immediate. Ryuta's grin drops and the grip on his knife loosens just slightly. His eyes turn completely blank, unseeing. I know for certain that in his mind he's recalling a dark moment, a terrifying memory, something locked away that he'd never let himself know, let alone a stranger. Remembering tears of regret, a whispered phrase, words that have haunted nightmares every day since they were uttered. I don't allow myself to dwell on the thought. Before I get a grasp on what I'm doing, I'm already seizing the handle of Ryota's knife and turning the blade, shoving it with more force than I'd ever exerted in my life, driving the tip right through his abdomen. His body jerks like a rag doll, but not a word passes his lips. The only sound I hear is the squelch of tissue and organs against metal. For a moment, there's silence, broken only by the distant flare of police sirens. His grip loosens and his weight falls on my shoulder, driving my arm painfully against the railing. A ragged whisper drifts to my ears. Such is our lot, Yama Ishimoto. We are a disappointment. Then, with sudden strength, he grips my shoulders and tumbles over the railing, pulling me with him. My stomach lurches at the terrifying grasp of gravity as we plummet to the school pool below. Falling from the school roof, see Spike, serial killer. This is what my existence has been. One struggle for life after another, a constant misstep, a wandering in the wrong direction. Now left with 2 innocent teenagers, broken and bleeding, their minds irreparable, even if their bodies are not. A man once intelligent, once admirable, now driven mad, a knife fixed in his stomach. A clean and polished school, ruined forever by a legacy of violence. And who knows how many lives shattered. The air tears at my face and clothes, screaming past my ears. Ryuta's blood flies from his wound, coating the front of my jacket. Ah, that's right. I stabbed someone. We crash into the pool with stinging force. Tendrils of blood disperse into the chlorinated water like spider silk. Rhoda's iron grip on my shoulders loosens at the impact. Bubbles gurgle from his lips, rushing past my face as they pop to the surface. I'm no longer holding the knife, but I still feel the form and weight of its handle between my fingers. This is what I've done. For a moment, I let myself drift in the freezing water. There's no point in swimming up to the surface, really. Wouldn't it just be easier to just drift away? Come back up to the world and I'll face a long hospital trip, a court case, catching up on essays about second wave world civilizations and worksheets on deriving trigonometric theorems. Take the exams, go to some university, major in something or another, get a white-collar job, marry, have kids, die. All this after trashing another human being's system to a pulp. Someone who might not recover physically and will never recover emotionally. Is there even a point? Existential nihilism, the belief that there's no meaning, no value, nothing to life. I vaguely remember being terrified of the notion when I'd first heard about it in class. Most students just laughed it off. How stupid, how depressing, life has no purpose? Whoever made that up has issues. But it was too close to me. Living a life of homework, keeping my head down and keep going through each day wondering where I was and what I was doing. Maybe I've been trying too hard to find meaning where there is none. Maybe I've been desperately grasping for straws to find some kind of significance in an inconsequential existence. From a strictly technical point of view, this is not the time to be thinking philosophical thoughts. Being at the bottom of a pool, just an arm's reach away from a serial killer, probably with only 30 seconds left before I run out of breath and start drowning. Any sensible person would leave this Socrates session for another day and wait until all basic needs are met first. Guess I'm not as sensible as I thought. Either that, or I can't bring myself to be. You can lead a student to air, but you can't make him breathe. That's how the saying should go. Maybe I should just sleep. I suddenly feel so tired. I'm tired too. I've been doing this for like 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. Woo! We made it to the 2-hour mark, everybody. Give everyone clap. Oh my god, my voice is gonna be complete trash after this. Oh my god. Talking for 2 hours straight? Holy fuck. I am gonna be fucking trash after this. That's happy music. I think I've been here before. That's right. This is a familiar road. There's a sign at an intersection, I think. It's rickety and rusted, worn from use. There's no words on it. Just 2 arrows, one pointing forward, one pointing backward. I'd just like to stay here. A fork in the road is such a dangerous thing. Left, right, a one-time decision, and if it turns out that you run into an obstacle, then you'll find yourself wishing that you made the other choice. Then don't you start overthinking everything? What if I'd taken the other road? What if the other road was worse? What if there was another road, if only I looked harder? What if I hadn't taken a road at all? What if I'd gone backwards? 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. A poem written by Robert Frost, originally intended to be a simple teasing joke, a hint of playful satire and indecision, but people saw it as something else. Even though they weren't poets, they started adding their own kinds of verses to the composition. Independence, individualism, science, discovery, curiosity, free will, and the human condition. Poor Robert Frost. Suddenly he had written an entirely different poem, even without touching his pen. two roads diverged in a wood, and I
Heavily medicated doctor. Anytime he's coherent, he thrashes around. We have to sedate him every time.
How long?
2 weeks.
The record?
Here, sir.
I assume that when he screams for her, he's referring to the other patient.
We think so, sir, but she's still recovering with therapy. We haven't been able to get her in here.
Where's her progress?
She started speaking again after her parents came with the photo album. We're also hoping that the daily fresh air will help her walk.
And how about her arm?
Psychosomatic, like her legs. We'll be monitoring it over therapy.
Good. She'll likely be our fastest ticket to his recovery.
But it might be a while before Miss Hayata is able to...
Ruri?
Ah! Mr. Ishimoto, are you awake? Can you see me?
Ruri?
Mr. Ishimoto, can you tell me?
Where's Ruri? Where did you take her? She's supposed to be here! Safe!
Hold him down!
Show me Rui with my own 2 eyes!
Dice Bam! What?
Give her back! Give her... Here comes a candle to light you to bed. Here comes a chopper to chop off your head. Chip chop, the last man's dead. Sometimes I really wonder about children's nursery rhymes. Why do we let young kids listen to such twisted ideologies? Children aren't supposed to deal with that kind of stuff. They're supposed to be innocent. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water! God damn! Jack fell down and... My world suddenly feels warm. What is that? Why is it happening? I suddenly get the impression that I'm awake. I think someone's holding my hand. The tips of my fingers feel warm, like they're being cradled in a loving palm. Everything else is blinding light that drills into the back of my eyes. Home. Home is here. Home.
Finally got to visit you. I'm sorry for the wait. I had to go through therapy to start talking again. I know that the whole thing is over thanks to you, but whenever I close my eyes, Well, I guess I'm really thankful that the doctors could help me. I just hope that it'll be the same for you. Well, I'll let you rest up. You'll need a lot of it. Oh, and this old thing? Doctors say I'll be out of it in a week. It's apparently all in my head. Honestly, though, a wheelchair's not all that bad. I kind of feel like royalty. You know how they had those, what are they called, sedans? And they got carried around all the time? I guess this feels like that. Oh, and Yama? I love laughing at your grades. So hurry up and get well, dummy!
Aw, that was disappointing. I dream a little longer. My dreams are softer now, a little more delicate, like lace instead of sandpaper. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm just like, what am I doing? I see a young kid grasping the hand of his older sister. In another world, that kid grows up to be more confident, more assured. He learns how to deal with bullies so that he won't bother his sister. He learns how to study hard and make friends and play soccer like all the other boys his age. He doesn't withdraw, lost in his room. He doesn't keep to himself on the playground. He's a happy young boy who turns into a happy teenager. He goes to the prestigious middle school in the area, the academy, to follow in his sister's footsteps. Because his family never left the city. His family never fled to a suburban little town 3 hours away from Isamu. His family stayed because in this other world there was never an event that had to do with a bus, a blizzard, a loose thread. a loose thread, a frozen river. So the young boy also stayed. Maybe he meets a lively orange-haired girl at this middle school. Maybe he befriends her because she's lovable and bright and impossible to dislike. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he falls in with a different crowd. A sea of faces that play soccer and grab ramen on snowy days and study in the library when it's raining. Either way, he flourishes, loves his life, maybe dates once or twice. He studies hard for the college entrance exams, and he passes with flying colors in this other world. He makes it into the university of his dreams. He studies something that he loves. Graduates, finds a girl, gets married. Maybe she has orange hair, maybe she doesn't. Does Rui actually have orange hair? It looks more pink to me, but I guess it is orange. He finds a good job, has kids, smiles like an idiot when his daughter wraps her fingers around his pinky. He'll name her after his sister, the one who's alive and well, who married a decent guy and had kids of her own. Then that boy who turned into a teenager, who turned into a man, will wake up one day and he'll be happy and he'll be whole and he'll be wondering if this was all there was to life. My eyes peel open, sluggishly, like they haven't done so for a decade. My muscles feel weak and lifeless, spindled slugs on a sidewalk. My throat's dry and my head is smarting. So, looks like I'm in the hospital. I notice that a nurse is at my bedside, fiddling with the IV drip on the table. She seems tired, drawn eyes, tight frown. I clear my throat to get her attention. Excuse me. The words eject in a queasy croak. The nurse jumps at the raw noise, but relaxes when she notices me.
Oh! Wonderful, you're awake!
Her voice is chipper, but I notice how she eyes me with caution, like I'll lunge out of bed and strangle her if she makes any sudden move.
Do you remember your name?
Yama Ishimoto.
Good. Do you remember how you got here?
By ambulance, I assume. I wheeze in dry laughter. Everything seems funny. The nurse eyes me for a minute, then presses the intercom.
Doctor, the patient's awake. Can you speak with him?
They give me a basic physical exam, followed by a psychological inventory. I give all the answers I think are correct and expect an imminent release. I'm ready to get back to my life. Instead, they take me to a room with a plush couch and a contemporary lamp where a man sits in an armchair and tries to get me to talk about my life. Therapy. I've been through it too many times. It's gotten quite old over the years. I'm so familiar with the proceedings that I resign myself to playing mind games with the therapist. Can I predict before he asks? Can I redirect his questions? But it's not such a smooth and humorous process. Therapy makes me recall everything. Breaking limbs with a pipe with my own 2 hands, driving myself insane, stabbing someone in the gut. During the first session, I black out. They tell me later that I crumpled into a ball and refused to respond to anything until Ruri came. Ruri, now out of a wheelchair.
You've been in the hospital for 2 months, she said.
Shit. Ruri holds my hand in the next session. I squeeze it until I'm afraid that I'll snap her fingers just like I snapped those bones. She whispers,
"You're innocent. Don't you worry. It was all Ruru's fault. You're a victim."
I still feel blood on my hands whenever the sessions are over. I go to the bathroom to wash my hands once, twice, 5 times over. It still runs slick and steady over my wrists and into my forearms when I exit the bathroom. I stop speaking for a few days. There's nothing to talk about. I have too many sounds to remember, too much cacophony thrumming in the space between my ears. Breeze sits by me, feeds me when I have no strength to lift the spoon, pulls the covers up to my chin like my mom should have done. She tells me stories. Me rolling my R's. She tells me stories, a princess and a knight, a detective and a bar singer, a celebrity and an unfortunate grocer. Some days I just sit and hold her hand, watching her eyes dance as she paints imaginary canvases with her words. Speaking so much tires her out quickly. Sometimes she nods off in the middle of a sentence, so I lean her head on my shoulder and listen to the even rhythm of her breath. It's softer than the discord in my brain. Sometimes it lulls me to sleep too. Then comes the session where I remember everything, every last bit, and I lose consciousness again. They say that they found me standing on the hospital rooftop, leaning against the banister with my arms spread wide as if I was welcoming the city into a warm embrace. They instantly rushed me down, terrified that I'd try to kill myself. "Calm down," I said. My smile was distant. "I was just enjoying the view." They didn't believe me, so I'm confined to my room for a while. No one is allowed to see me except Rui, not even my own parents. They say it's because I didn't react well to the presence when I was delirious. So, like the beast with his beauty, I'm holed up in a hospital room, counting the days until I can pass the psychological inventory. Rui brings gifts from the others, envelopes and gift-wrapped boxes and overly large bags that could have only been funded by Yahiko's purse. Yahiko's purse. He's a purse guy, I guess, not a wallet guy. They're nice and the thought is touching, but I tell Rui to return them all. I plan on staying here, keeping the blood on my hands in one room. Rui cries every time, a heartbreaking, frustrated kind of crying, and she punches me in the shoulder and yells that it's not my fault, it's Ryuta's. Why can't I get that through my head? But even if my brain agrees, my hands remember the scratchiness of the pipe, the vibration of each terrible impact, the oozing, sinking feeling of a knife sinking into flesh. So I only can kiss her on the forehead and thank her for staying with me. She doesn't blush, she doesn't even look remotely embarrassed. In fact, I think that the gesture only makes her angrier. We're gonna make you well, Yama! She screams this out the window like some kind of oath. You're gonna be just fine! I attend more sessions, stay isolated from family and friends. My parents pay for the sessions, but I see nothing more of them. Legally, they're allowed to see me, but they don't insist. They probably don't really want to see me anyway. They haven't for years. More days slip by. I wonder if our friends have moved on with their lives, gone back to school, prepared for the university exams, started dating. When I start speaking again, I ask Rui how long we've been at the hospital. 2 months and 2 weeks, she says. Is that it? It feels so much longer. Continue sessions, go for walks, eat hospital food. I think I start to heal because the world feels a little less empty with each passing day. It's not my fault. I decide to say this to the mirror every morning, even if I don't believe it. Maybe if I say it enough, maybe if I raise my chin and put my hands on my hips, maybe if I act like I believe it, then I'll believe it. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I stare into my reflection, meaningless words pouring from my lips. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most broken of them all? Seems to whisper back. Broken you may be, young man, but I see one more broken still. Broken more still. Someone with nothing but blood in his eyes and no person to love. Someone who fell into darkness until one day, to ease his pain, he had suddenly become a serial killer. Mirror, mirror, couldn't I have become that man myself? In another world, a boy damaged by an accident, growing up alone and reserved with nothing but the shadows as his constant companion. That boy could grow into a twisted teenager who could grow into a twisted man. But I think I understand. None of that happened. What more do I need to worry about? Maybe I disfigured an innocent student. Maybe I stabbed a human being. Maybe I took part in a nightmare that never should have been dreamt. But in this world, in these circumstances, I'm not a twisted, lonely little boy. I grew up showered with love, surrounded by friends, given an ordinary school life. The me standing here and now wouldn't voluntarily lift a pipe or a knife to hurt someone without a purpose. Oh my god. My hand has just been, I've been using the same hand this whole time, and like my hand and my arm is so fucking cold because I don't have to move it that much. So it's really cold compared to my other hand. I don't like it. Oh my god. Because I'm not anyone else. Eventually, I stopped talking to my reflection. I stopped washing my hands every half hour. I feel at peace, I think. At the very least, I stopped blacking out. Rui says that it's been 3 months since our hospitalization. Isamu is now deep in the hold of summer with a blazing July sun and humid forest wind. School's probably back in session. It doesn't stop us from receiving gifts. Cards, letters, candy. Rui gets swamped by them, of course. Surprisingly, even I receive a few. This time I return them for a different reason. Not because I plan on cutting off outer contact, but because I plan on seeing them in person. The both of us go through more psychological tests. This time they seem happier with their responses because they finally open the doors. Finally. We're getting to the end. I don't expect visitors, to be honest. Although I'm no longer bedridden after taking walks around the hospital wing, I expect that the others might have gone on with their lives. 3 months is a long time in the hurried pace of a student. But to my surprise, the moment that the hospital lifts my quarantine, 2 figures race into the room in a blur. Minion! Finally, these guys! It's Yahiko and Masato dressed in their school uniforms. They're practically bursting with energy. For some reason, seeing them brings tears to my eyes. Embarrassed, I turn away. Dude, these past months have, felt like forever. I can't believe that this happened. I can still remember you didn't come to school the other day and no one knew where you were and Rui wasn't talking about you. Then suddenly no one could find Rui and no one could find you and... A hint of his mask comes crumbling down. For the first time I see Yahiko's face twist in true pain. I was thinking that you'd guys be gone. Just like Haru, Shoji, Akane. He grits his teeth, shuddering. All I can do is awkwardly pat him on the shoulder. I've always known that each of Mr. Ryuda's victims were connected to Yahiko, but for some reason I never actually considered what that did to Yahiko. It's amazing, really. How could Yahiko even stay standing? How could he still smile, still laugh, even as people he knew were dying? I'd always thought of him as kind of weak and more than kind of stupid, but it looks like he was actually stronger than any of us. He was even right there at the scene of Shoji's death, saw him die with his own eyes. At the same time, the scene looked suspicious. But now that I think about it, wasn't Yahiko just trying to prevent a suicide? Wasn't that why I found Shoji in the river? I almost want to ask about it, but something tells me that Yahiko's had enough. Well, I'm okay, apparently. Yahiko stills, his mouth turning up into a forced smile. Yeah, I guess so. But still, I didn't do anything. What could you do? You didn't even know where we were. Yahiko's eyes shift to the side and he clears his throat. Masato's eyebrow tightens slightly, but he says nothing. Actually, Shigure called us. What? Well, I mean, technically I guess it was after the fact, but still. We needed to know why you were hospitalized, so we kind of just piled on a bunch of questions. She explained everything. The cases, your investigation. She said we deserved to know. Shigure told them? Why would Shigure tell them? It simply doesn't make sense. At the very least, she would be wasting her time. Beyond that, she'd be spilling confidential info with no clear purpose. So, well, we told Akira and Misaki, since Akira's the best friend of Rui, and Misaki knows both of you. Knows you both. And Elizabeth ended up overhearing, and apparently Shigure had told Ari, we visited you a few times, but you were either knocked out or you started thrashing around. And then they kicked us out eventually, entirely. So that's why they stayed so worried. That's why they were so persistent with the gifts. I guess it's not every day that one of your friends tries to fight a serial killer. A smile of gratitude tugs at my lips and I feel a little warmer inside. They really cared a lot for us, didn't they? Thanks, Yahiko. Yahiko only nods mutely. I glance at Masato, only to find that he's still stewing. Come to think of it, he hasn't said a word. Masato? Damn it! Well, goddamn! Yahiko and I jump at Masato's sudden exclamation. I'm a shack and full dumber! The fullest dumber and dumber! What? He quite silently. It's getting really hard to speak now. My throat is hurting so much from doing this. Okay. He slightly, speaking through gritted teeth. I was stupid blind. I didn't see nothing but myself. I'm real sorry, man. Wait, where is this coming from? Honestly, I'm just surprised to see him here. It wasn't fair to you, man. I was throwing a tantrum like Lil Hibiki. Saying all those words, not listening to you. It was something only a shackin' full dumber would do. Should've asked what was going on instead of assuming everything. Oh, his apology catches me off guard. Well, thanks, but he was right. Just after he told me to be nice to Ri, I treated her like trash. Maybe he could sense it coming. Maybe he saw that something was wrong with me. Wait. Now that I'm paying more attention, I notice that Masato's hair is damp. Not only that, but there's a faint smell of chlorine? Masato, were you just swimming? Huh? Well, yeah, I guess. Technically it's summer, and technically it's pretty normal to be swimming, but something churned slowly in my brain. Diseased, but still keen.
All you talk about is track. Emma's probably tired of hearing it by now.
But I don't just run. I can swim too! And do basketball! Masato can swim. In fact, he can swim well. Masato's incredibly athletic. The last person who I'd spoken to before I'd seen Shoji drowning in that river, before I'd almost drowned, had been Masato. He could have easily hauled Shoji and me to shore, even if we were both hopeless at swimming. Odd, it was 3 months ago, but each memory feels as vivid as yesterday. Vibrant, full of life. Guess I should seize the moment. Did you save us? Save who now? Me and Shoji. From drowning 3 months ago. Oh, that's definitely a yes. It's not like he'd forget saving 2 people from drowning, even if it was 3 months ago.
Wait, you guys almost drowned?
Well, we didn't, thanks to Masato. Yahiko's face twists for a moment, and for one terrible second, I think he's about to cry. And then... Did you see a mermaid?! Now, my good minion, this is a very important question. You must answer. There was a mermaid, wasn't there? Beautiful, with long hair and a voice that sounds like a really nice voice. To answer or not to answer? Why not? Well, she sung just like you. Really? She must have been amazing. Was definitely worthy of awe. I knew it! What the hell are you saying, Yama? There was no mermaid! There wasn't no mermaid! What?! This overdramatic gasp is punctuated with a very long silence. And then Masato snorts. I chuckle. Ahiko giggles. And pretty soon the 3 of us are collapsed on the ground, rolling with uncontrollable laughter. My sides ache and my chest heaves, and every possible muscle and every possible limb is protesting with a sore ache, but it feels good. Like the stress is just melting out of my body. Finally, we pick ourselves up, brushing at our eyes. Good to see you're still with us, man. Might want to take a rest, because there's a lot of people waiting to talk with you. You're almost as famous as I am! Wait, what? Later, man. Rest up, good minion. I'm putting you to work the moment you recover. Wait, what do you mean that I'm... But they've already skipped out of the room, leaving me completely bewildered. I wait for another visitor, but my door doesn't open again. Maybe people are coming later? It would be nice. After talking with Masato and Yahiko, everything feels normal. Kind of like the world, after being knocked off course, has found its bearings again. I have a bad feeling that this is gonna cross 3 hours, and holy shit. On your feet, soldier! On your feet, soldier! Yeah! I startle out of my beauty sleep to find that Akira, Ari, and Elizabeth are seated in the chairs next to my bed. For a moment, my groggy mind scrambles to piece together reality. Right, hospital. They must be visiting me.
Oh, hey, it actually worked.
But he seems a bit disoriented.
Well, we simply can't have that, can we? Second, Mari. Or don't.
As Elizabeth clears her throat and arches an eyebrow in my direction. So, Yama Ishimoto. So, Elizabeth Oshiro. She suddenly lurches to her feet, glaring darkly at me. I want to know what the bloody hell you were thinking when you decided to do something so balmy. Going to face a known serial killer alone, unarmed. What were you planning to do? Sneeze on him? Her chiding catches me off guard, but it doesn't grate on my nerves. It actually seems caring in the weirdest way.
It is unavoidable. Yama is the protagonist.
Yes!
Precisely! It's exactly something like that. Exactly something that, say, the main character of a novel would do.
Well, this isn't a bloody novel. It's a visual novel.
Correct. It's a... Thank you! Ah! Thank you! Thank you, Ari! I love you! Correct. It's a visual novel.
You know what? I'm not even going to ask.
Yeah, that's one beyond me. Beyond even me.
Fourth wall breaking in my games. I relax against my pillows. Their energetic presences light up the room. I hadn't realized how much I missed being an ordinary kid, hanging out with his friends and getting ready for university until now. Right, ordinary life, friends. I can just talk about normal stuff, stupid stuff. Clear my throat awkwardly, struggling for words. So, how's school been? Wait, you're asking about school?
Who are you and what have you done with Yama Ishimoto?
Well, it's a welcome break from thinking about serial killers.
You speak truth.
She turns to Elizabeth as if deferring to authority. Elizabeth smiles appreciatively. Well, the Academy's been fighting it off as long as possible, but they were finally forced to shut down, just today actually. The public scandal was just too much for them to bribe off, apparently. The police are currently conducting an investigation to see how deep this murder scheme goes, and why it seems to center around Yahiko Okari. Before I can stop it, my brain automatically kicks back into investigation mode. Have they found anything yet? Unfortunately, no. It's unusual, actually, how clean and tidy these killings are. There's no ties to any faculty, no apparent motive, no links to any accomplices. Mr. Ruta had gone off his trolley from the moment he'd been apprehended. Nothing he says makes any sense. I briefly recall a discussion about Aztec gods and blood rituals. It seems so far away. Yeah, I'm not very surprised. But why could he mask his insanity so well while he was a dorm manager? It was practically a personality
Hey, Elizabeth. Yama's supposed to be resting from that.
It's fine, Akira. This is important stuff.
Nope, you need to rest. Brewer's orders.
I can rest as much as I want later. Isn't the academy closed? Actually, there's an interesting story behind that too. Akira expels an exaggerated sigh, but I'm already honed in on Elizabeth's words. What do you mean? Don't you find it odd that there are no reporters hovering around? That you haven't received a single request for an interview? Maybe I'm not cute enough. Oh, for the love of... They haven't been around Rui's room either. Well, when she puts it that way, it's definitely suspicious. I would have thought that this kind of juicy scandal would draw reporters like carrion birds to a corpse. So there's no news coverage? They covered Mr. Ruta's killing spree and arrest, but there's nothing on the closure of the academy. It's as if the National News Network is simply ignoring the fact that it all happened at school.
Wait, what? But the job of the news is to inform the people!
One would hope, but in this case, there's not a peep from them. Sober silence falls over the room. No news for closing the academy? to think of it, the NNN used to cover the murders extensively, but I haven't seen much from them recently. Or maybe that's just because I don't watch the news much.
Well, we should get going. You need to rest up.
She reaches out a hand as if to pat me on the shoulder, but suddenly withdraws it, looking away.
Bye.
She quickly runs out of the room. Elizabeth snorts, but her features eventually soften into, dare I say it, admiration. Rescuing Marie was an admirable feat, Yama Ishimoto. Utterly batty perhaps, but admirable. With these parting words, she turns on one heel and strides away. Ari's the only one left. Her gaze fixes on me, almost like she's examining an alien specimen. What is it? I love this music.
You seem uncomfortable.
Actually, this bed's really nice.
Not that kind of uncomfortable.
I wait for her to elaborate, but she doesn't say anything more. She only slips back into her chair.
I can sing. Singing can help you sleep.
Oh, thanks. Something about the weight of her words makes me think that this is more than an offer to sing. It's almost an expression of trust. I'd like that. Ari smiles just the teeniest bit, then closes her eyes. The intricate melody that spills from her lips practically eases my muscles into butter. I've forgotten how nice her voice sounded. It barely takes any time before I've slipped away from consciousness. I wake up on my own this time. I fully expect the room to be vacant, to be accompanied by only the ticking of the clock, to be utterly silent, but instead I'm greeted with the sight of a girl seated in the chair beside my bed. Wait, not girl, woman. Shigure? She doesn't even look up from... Is that a book she's reading? No files. Long files, apparently.
Ishimoto, you're awake.
Or sleep-talking.
Oh, highly improbable.
I smirk at that. Even Shigure seems to be smiling. So, what brings you to my humble abode? Shouldn't you be working?
Ryuta has already been apprehended. I see no further need for my presence in the
I don't know how to say that. What, really? Shigure's eyebrows give the barest twitch of irritation. Or is there more to the story? Like, maybe, I don't know, they officially considered the case closed, so you're no longer granted access to the investigation? Bullseye. That's kind of strange. Aren't you the reason why they managed to get Ryuta in the first place? Expect her to explode in a fit of intricate insults, but instead, she hunches over as if a large weight is bearing down on her shoulders.
There are unusual movements in Ishimoto. Something is stirring beneath the surface, something bigger than any of us could ever imagine.
And I'm the chosen one, born to master the 5 elements and take down the ultimate evil in this world.
Absolutely not.
Then maybe the shining sword of the chosen one.
Oh please, at best you are a blunt arrow, sharper than the average rock, but only just.
Ouch, can you give me back the Shigure from 3 months ago? I liked her better.
I'm afraid she will never make another appearance.
But when she snaps the files shut, her smirk softens into a genuine smile.
It is good that you did not die, Ishimoto. Although I am so uncertain of its relevance, I told myself that as soon as you were coherent, I might relate my story to you.
What's that supposed to mean?
You may have noticed my certain unusual reaction to your phone call.
I knew that you wouldn't have believed me. You never even needed me as your assistant in the first place.
I wouldn't have believed you? But you didn't even try. I would have believed you. I would. If you just trusted me, if you just...
Now that you mention it. I've never seen Shigure that emotional. Not even when we ran into Natsuki.
For time's sake, as well as the sake of your interest, I shall keep my tale short.
Despite her confident start, she gives a marked pause before she continues. God, how much longer is this gonna take? I get the feeling that she hasn't talked about her story very often. Somehow the idea makes me feel special.
I was difficult to get along with in my youth.
Only in your youth, I think automatically, but I keep my mouth shut.
Most decided to keep their distance from me. As a method of coping, I kept to books.
Hence her occasional bursts of ridiculous vocabulary, I guess. Oh my god, my voice is dying! I'm fucking dying!
For the most part, the majority of my peers were inane and superficial. Losing their acquaintanceship was no loss. However, one day, a boy approached me. The very traits that others hated so much about me, he found fascinating. He became my truest friend over time. I have few memories apart from him. We even decided to engage in matrimony as we studied in university. After, of course, we found stable jobs. I finished my schooling within 2.5 years, at which point I began my detective agency.
Wait, 2.5 years? That sounds crazy. She must have taken max units, enrolled in classes over interterm, and studied without breaks.
I dearly loved my field of study and greatly looked forward to my field of work. Aside from the late nights, it was of no difficulty.
Somehow I find that hard to believe.
At any rate, one of my first cases was worked in conjunction with the police. There was a particularly vicious triple murder closely related to the family of my betrothed. He put forward a suspect. I believed his mind to be clouded by emotion and disregarded it. So he left and found another detective.
I winced at the idea. That must have really hurt her pride. Shiguri notices my reaction and raises an eyebrow.
It was a sore betrayal, Ishimoto. My pride was not the only aspect that was in pain. It may be akin to Rui losing trust in you, even though you thought that she, of all people, would continue to support you.
Just the thought sends me reeling. I quickly decide to not consider it again.
The suspect that my betrothed put forward was eventually, as I suspected, found to be innocent. Except no sooner than after receiving his verdict, the allegedly innocent man tracked my betrothed's residence and...
She pauses, the edges of her expression crumpled, but she holds strong.
There was another murder that day, one I could not handle.
Oh.
All I wished for was to take back my actions. I wished that he had believed me, and that I had believed in him.
So when I thought I'd run around by myself, when I had planned on facing her by my own initiative, no wonder she was so panicked. As a repeat in history, a sickening time loop, Shiguri doesn't deserve that. Thank you for telling me. She only shrugs wordlessly.
It may help your resolve when it comes to Rui. Learn from my mistakes, Ishimoto. This is my gravest instruction.
What do you mean? What does it have to do with Rui?
Leave no regrets. That is all I mean.
No regrets? Is she telling me to start dating Rui just like everyone else? That seems odd, kind of trivial. Maybe the past 3 months contribute to that. Shiguri notes my uneasy expression and stands to her feet somewhat abruptly.
Regardless, there are other matters I must see to, but you have earned a well-deserved rest as well as this.
She extends a flat white envelope to me, stamped with pay stub? Wait, what's this?
Your pay. I dare say it's deserved.
But you never said you'd pay me.
I mentioned it multiple times, actually. You simply did not listen.
She pushes the envelope into my hand. My fingers numbly accept it. Oh, wow. Thanks. It's unexpectedly generous of her.
Farewell, Ishimoto. Rest up.
She whisks out of the room, leaving me with the envelope. Well, I never thought that she'd actually pay me. She didn't seem like the type. Hesitantly, I tear the envelope open and unfold the sheet of paper inside. It's an official-looking invoice with 3 printed lines, accompanied by a scribbled note. Income. 100,000 yen. Theme park tickets. That much debt. However,
as my magnanimity knows no bounds, I shall benignantly waive your debt. I see.
I totally should have seen this coming.
Very well, Ishiyama. Let us depart.
Really? And you're paying for everyone?
Oh yes, with your future wages.
I should have known something was up from the moment Shigure started complimenting me. Nevertheless, I'm chuckling to myself even as I slip the pay stub back into the envelope. That's definitely more like Shigure. Still grinning, I settle back for some more sleep. I note with satisfaction that the heaviness in my limbs is much less substantial than before. Oh my god. Is this almost over? How much longer do I have to enjoy this wonderful game? Oh my god, my voice is dying. How much longer? I wake to a soft knock at the door. Huh? Someone actually knocked. Who would have thought? Come in. This time it's Misaki who slips through the door. Fuck! She wordlessly walks over to my side and embraces me. I stiffen awkwardly at her touch. Miki? I'm so glad you're okay, Yama. When I heard they were allowing visitors, I rushed here as soon as I could. I was starting to think I would never see you again. She drops off into silence for a moment. I feel her fingers clutch at my hospital gown. Yahiko and Masato told me about the investigation, about your involvement with the case. Yeah, sorry for not telling you. You didn't have to. I just wanted to say you did well, Yama. The simple words make my throat swell. Before I can respond, she releases me, settling in the chair nearest my bed. I immediately take note of the stress weighing on her features. She looks a lot more tired than I remember. Something wrong? It's just something about the case still worries me. Have you heard about the recent uproar and patter? Can't say that I have. Well, it seems the murders caused a political firestorm. People are angry at how the government handled the incident. Wait, why is the government getting backlash? Aren't the murders a local issue? Misaki shakes her head. After his re-election last week, Mayor Nori held a press conference. According to reports, Mr. Ryota was an immigrant. Not many are happy that a foreigner was able to murder innocent civilians within their borders. So the mayor blamed Japan's government for granting amnesty to undocumented workers to compensate for the financial crash in 2007. He even proposed for Izumo to break away from the country's incompetence by becoming an independent state. I can only remain in stunned silence at this revelation. Mayor Nori is using the murders as his political platform? With all of this attention revolving around Ryuta, why is the Academy being excluded from the media? Do you know if they mentioned the Academy at all? They haven't. That's what worries me the most. It's almost as if... She trails off, seemingly lost in thought. As if what? As if someone were attempting to cover up the school's involvement. A cover-up? I know, it's a bit of a stretch, but listen to this. She retrieves her phone from her pocket. Remember how the Academy has quite a few sponsors? Isn't that why it's so prestigious? You know, career day and all. Exactly. So I figured, what if they were afraid of people knowing they were affiliated with the school who hired a murderer? Then how were they able to censor the media? That I still don't know. She says this dejectedly, sinking into her seat. Yama. Yeah? Aren't you angry? Angry? At Mr. Uda, at the media, at fate. You didn't deserve any of this. You've already gone through so much. And yet, it happened anyway. She clenches her fist, an uncharacteristic shadow veiling her across her face. Maybe she's right. Maybe I should be angrier, but all I feel right now is just relief. No one's safe, that's all that matters to me. I see. She expels a heavy sigh. Seeing her this distraught is a little unsettling, to say the least. I guess these past few months haven't been easy on anyone, even Misaki. She should be fretting over entrance exams or modeling stints or social drama or not over her friends almost being murdered. The somber thought prompts me to ask her about school. Since the academy's closed, do you know where you'll be transferring? No. The shift in her eyes tells me she hasn't given it much thought. Have you been studying at least? Aren't the university entrance exams coming up soon? Who are you, my teacher? I'll take that as a no. School hasn't been my top priority lately. It never has been, to be honest. So you're not worried about getting into university? Not really. Now that I think about it, she never explicitly said she was planning to attend. So what are you doing after high school? The words slip from my mouth before I'm able to grasp what I just said. How ironic. I never expected I'd be the one to ask this question. I don't know. What about modeling? As much as I enjoy it, I don't think I'm fit for it. Why not? I thought you loved your job. I do, but... She averts her gaze, twirling her phone between her fingers. I went into the business for the wrong reasons. I thought it was an opportunity to experience something new, you know? I thought it would be easy. But it's not. I can't cope with the stress. I can't focus. I'm always irritable. Tell me, what company would want someone like that? Miki, you're not. But it's true, Yama. You've seen it. I never really think these things through. I just don't know what to do anymore. As strange as it is, Misaki seems genuinely concerned. I take a moment to really consider her situation. The Misaki I know couldn't care less about failing. As long as she had fun doing what she wanted, that's all that mattered to her. If you really love being a model, then keep doing it. If you lose interest in that, you could always try something else. For a moment, Misaki's expression is unreadable. I'm afraid I've said something extremely cheesy, but she flashes me a bright smile. Wise words from an old man. But she's a year older than me. Ah, God. Thank you, Yama. Don't mention it. For some reason, the sincerity in her voice flusters me. Usually she's the one giving me these kinds of pep talks. I suppose I should let you rest. I still need to speak with Rui. I'm sure you'll be alright? Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Miki. Of course, rest well, Yama. After flashing one last smile, she strides out the door. It was surprising to see Misaki so anxious, but then again, it's only natural considering everything that's happening. The academy is being excluded from the media. The citizens are fed up with the government. Mayor Inori is calling for sovereignty. It seems change is imminent for Isamu. The fact that the murders have garnered so much attention on this scale still boggles my mind. Not wanting to dwell on it for too long, I force myself to clear my head. I can think more on this later. For now, I should focus on the people around me. That's probably all I can do. Oh my god. I can't. My voice is dying. I seriously can't keep doing this. Oh my god. Oh my god, my fucking voice. I need to give my voice a rest. It's starting to really hurt, okay? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god, my voice is doing voice cracks. I don't even know if I'm doing this on purpose. Probably not. Oh my god. Oh my god. Would you guys really hate me if I just stopped it right here? I seriously can't keep going. My voice is starting to hurt. Oh my god. Yeah, I think... Oh my god. I think it's gonna be a good idea if I just end it here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I kept saying that I was gonna end it all here, but I literally can't keep doing this anymore. My voice is really hurting. It hurts. It actually is starting to hurt. And like, especially with the fact that I think that I'm getting sick, it's gonna be awful tomorrow. Okay? So please, just have mercy on my soul. Okay? So with that all being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Lucid9 and you want to see more, leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell. Remember, fucking die safely, please, for the love of God, die safely. Bye-bye.